Oh, it's a lovely touch from him though. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, can you do something, please? Last chance, Matt Doherty!
Oh, you shite! There could be
From
the dead to the
Don't fuck it up now, Go and win it!
Let's go
Last chance! Stephen Berghvall! Stephen Berghvall's through! Win it, Stephen! Come on! Yes!
He's won it! He's gonna win it! Oh my God! Oh
Yo, check that out. How you doing, people? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I hope you are all happy and healthy, locked in. It's game day. It is game day. It's not really that important to us. It's a big deal for Liverpool, but you never know. You never know. 15 wins out of 75, give or take, in the Premier League. We're probably going to get spanked, but wouldn't it be great to see some sort of turnaround that involves something like Stephen Berghvall did against Leicester that day? I hope you are all keeping yourselves out of trouble, happy and healthy, doing things you love, those you love to do them with. Guys, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Don't just drop one, drop several. We're in a live chat. You can spread some content, comments, love. It's game day, people. It's game day. It's also my mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Bernadette. And so I will be down the pub with her and a Liverpool fan, her friend, a Liverpool fan today, watching the game. So I'll be back after the game and I'll come back and give you some sort of commentary on what I thought happened. But ultimately, this is all just a bit of a kind of a nothing burger, isn't it, for Tottenham? Talking about nothing burgers. Did you see the outrage? Did you see the outrage on Twitter last night? Created in part by my man, Johnny H3232. I love Johnny. You know I love Johnny. But just because he's my boy doesn't mean he gets away with some critical feedback. Oh, critical? Yes, it was critical. It was critical. We'll call it critique. But I had a crack at him. I mean, don't get me wrong. He knows how to play the social media game. I think he's had something like 1.2 million impressions on Instagram. Something like, God knows, 250,000 on Twitter. By dropping that video of Clark, the boxer, the Arsenal fan, coming out to North London forever. And obviously fighting against the Tottenham fan who beat him up and then played Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur as his victory celebration, which for me is all good banter. But the notion that has been put across on Twitter and on Instagram and TikTok and all the socials and all that stuff, not just by Johnny, by the way, by loads of people, I think is missing a massive point. And Johnny is far too smart. He's far, far, far too smart to not see the obvious logic that a venue manager. So we start by saying the argument that's been put across is, you know, any stick to do to bash Daniel Levy. You know, we know that Johnny went for a coffee on Friday with half of the Levy Out tribe at Benny Boy Kaufman's coffee shop. And then on Saturday, I speak to him. I think it was Thursday or Friday. And then Friday or Saturday, I speak to him on the show. And, he's doubling down on the Levy Out thing. Like, Johnny's an independent, critical thinker. But I think, he's sort of leaning a little bit more that way right now. And I don't really know what's changed in the last week. But all of his content seems to be very much Levy is, spoiled the party. And listen, he might have done. Like I say, it is what it is. I put out content yesterday for you guys with Johnny that asserted or inferred that, we can't spend money that we don't have, says Daniel Levy. That actually maybe that's just a clever marketing trick to do what he really doesn't want to do, which is spend money. And, as someone that, I think of myself, I know a lot of people think of me in a lot of different ways. So be it, Don't matter what they're saying, just as long as they're talking about you. But I think of myself as a content creator, as someone who just wants to bring, where it matters, fact in the accounts, in that sort of stuff. Like, because often you get caught up in emotional outrage and, lacking logic and all this consistent logic with regards Daniel Levy or regards anything, right? Like, it's an emotional topic, isn't it? Like Tottenham football generally. But like, I think that Daniel Levy's done loads wrong. He's done loads right. I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as most people do, but that's okay. That's just opinions. But I feel like I've always given the good with the bad. Like, if there's facts that come out, stats, that obviously there's always context, so you have to interpret the data. But I feel like I've always tried my best to be reasonable and logical. And so when bad things come out that Daniel Levy's guilty of doing a disservice on, I feel like I try my best to bring that attention to you guys as well, especially if it's on topics that I might understand, but not all of you guys do. And so that's why I did the show yesterday, because to me, that looks, if it's true, and it come from a source of which they're a company that educates and advises other people that want to get into multi-club ownership, right? So they're trying to be taken seriously. I don't know if they're, how big of a company they are, but they're putting that stuff together. I don't know if it's all 100% accurate. There were certainly some anomalies in there that didn't really add up to me. But generally speaking, like that, let's assume that it was true, then that content didn't come from any of the Levy Out channels. It came from this channel that arguably makes Daniel Levy look really bad. So I'd hope that people would say that I am at least reasonable, that when there is information out there that doesn't sing Daniel Levy's name from a good hymn sheet or from the good, like the good echoes of the corners of the content creators, I'm still happy to do it, because I think it's important to be consistent, and it's important to be truthful as best you can, right? As best you can. Especially if, like I say, in topics that maybe other people don't understand. When it comes to like Ange Postecoglou or how good is Richarlison, it's just opinion, isn't it? But when there's elements that are factual and stuff like that, I think you need to be as consistent as you can. And so, when I see Twitter, which is obviously a cesspit of people that are like generally emotional outrage about anything any stick will do, and Johnny participates in it by putting out a very popular tweet, a very popular Instagram post, saying that the club are a disgrace, the hierarchy are a disgrace. They're a disgrace for allowing an Arsenal fan to play his choice of song. And that is yet another demonstration that Daniel Levy et al. Don't give a shit about the club's, heritage. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And I'm not saying this as an attempt to defend Daniel Levy. I'm defending common sense, people. I'm defending common sense. Tottenham Hotspur were a vendor that tended to be the venue manager for that event, of which we will have made £4 million plus last night, by all accounts. I won't say who, because he asked me not to. I won't even share you the photos, or share with you the photos or anything, but I was given some insights yesterday from someone who's in the Spurs community, who obviously knows someone who's maybe high up in boxing. I don't know, because the photos that he was sending me were backstage stuff and like front row stuff. So, and it's a personal thing. And he was showing me pictures of things that suggest that Tottenham Hotspur absolutely creamed it in yesterday on certain elements, right? On the alcohol and the. Anyway, long story short, the idea that you are fighting for an event in the vendor space with Saudi Arabia, with Wembley Stadium, with Las Vegas, and that you would turn all that on its head because you want a condition embedded into the contract that you can't light up the stadium with a certain boxer's colours, or you can't allow him to play a certain song, even though he's an irrelevant undercard entity. And you would risk losing that payday on that principle because we're Tottenham, and Tottenham Arsenal's unacceptable. Like, it's just madness. And anyone that's getting this fake, phony outrage about it either doesn't understand business, doesn't understand logic, or doesn't understand just life. But Johnny's not one of those. Johnny gets all that. Johnny's a really smart guy. He's a really smart guy. So, like, I think he's just playing the game a little bit. But I spoke to him about it on Twitter in the DMs, and he was like, "No, Sean, I fucking mean it. Like, it's outrageous." I was like, "Let me ask you this, Johnny. Let me ask you this. If it came out in the wash, right? If it came out in the wash 2 months after the fact, or before the fact, or whatever, that Tottenham Hotspur had that match day event sewn up, right? It was ours for the taking, but it ended up going to Saudi Arabia. And the reasons why is because Daniel Levy or Donna Cullen or whoever it is that's in charge of the commercial organization of those events. Not that, by the way, I think any of those people would have necessarily had the foresight to think, have we crossed every T and dotted every I in this contract? Have we thought about the possible scenario where there might just be a boxer that we haven't really heard of, who's an Arsenal fan, who's fighting against another boxer that we haven't really heard of, who's a Tottenham fan, and that the Arsenal fan might want to play North London forever? We better make sure that there's a clause that says we can't colour the stadium a certain way, and we can't, like, come on. Does Daniel Levy need to really micromanage to that level? But even if he could and did, if the story came out that Tottenham Hotspur lost the gig because we were unwavering and never moved on a pathetic notion, which could be ascribed as just banter anyway, and good banter, by the way, especially that Tottenham fan won, the boxer won. But, like, we would be ridiculed, and rightly so, by everybody, that we gave up 4 million quid in profitability or 4 million quid in revenue, whatever it was, over something as simple and nonsensical as that. We would be ridiculed universally on TalkSport, on everything else. People would say, Daniel Levy, that smart businessman, clearly he's an absolute donut. Look how pathetic that is. And I want to say everybody, I'm including the 1.2 million people who liked or who watched Johnny's tweet on Instagram or on Johnny's post on Instagram, and the 25,000 people that liked it, and the 1,000 people that saw it on Twitter and liked it, and all the comments saying it's outrageous, Daniel Levy's a disgrace. No, I'm sorry. The take is a disgrace. And Johnny, I love you. And you're not the only person, obviously, who feels that way. I'm sure I'm in the minority, but I don't care. On these sorts of things, if I'm in the minority, I'm fine with it, because there's right, there's wrong, there's good, there's bad, there's logic, there's emotion, and then there's just like reality. And on that one, it's like reality's walk through like Moses parting the sea. I went, let's get some people over here and some people over here, and I'm happy to be on the side where maybe the wave of emotion is going to drown you, but care less, because that is just such an absolute nonsensical thing. As is things like this. George, mate, come on. We know the stadium money goes on the commercial accounts of the Tottenham Hotspur accounts. How do you think we bought £110 million worth of players on average over the last 5 years? It's not through our league position. It really isn't. It's because of commercial revenue in no small part. How did we mitigate such a terrible year last year with only a 5% drop in revenue? It's because of the non-match day events. So that 4 million is going into Tottenham. It's going into Tottenham. The other money that's held in cash on those various other accounts that we spoke about yesterday, I don't think it is. And I want to know why. I want to know what that money's for. And I want to know why it is that there's no internal audits of those accounts, or only 12% of those accounts are audited. Not just at Tottenham, but everywhere else. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see who's in the house anyway. We've been going for 15 minutes on a rant, and that's not. I'm not having a dig at Johnny, but I love Johnny to pieces. It's just that was all over Twitter this morning, all over Twitter last night, and I was like, we are wildly missing the point here. If the boot was on the other foot, if the other outcome had happened, whereby we'd said no and we'd lost the gig, because as a venue manager, by the way, who the fuck do we think we are as a venue manager that you could put those sorts of conditions on boxers? Eddie Hearn would have gone, what? What am I doing here? But if we'd lost the event and that came out in the wash on TalkSport when Simon Jordan and Eddie Hearn were having a beef about something, and then Eddie Hearn used the relationship that Simon Jordan has with Daniel Levy to get a one-up in the battle of egos in a live, and said, yeah, your mates with Daniel Levy, that great businessman who turned down 4 million quid because of a Tottenham song or an Arsenal song, we would rightly be ridiculed by everybody. Come off it. Anyway, let's find out what's going on. By the way, if anyone wants to join, there's the link. It's at the top. It's pinned. I'm doing this by myself this morning, and that's okay. I'm more than happy to do it, but I just wanted to put it out there. Won't be going forever. I've got a few stories, though. Have got a few stories, and I want to talk about Ange Postecoglou. I want to talk about some of the comments he made about the kind of the stone cutting thing. Also, his reaction to that. Vicario, his interview with Optus Sport. I'm going to be using a little bit of Twitter. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble. I hope Last Word on Spurs and Haters TV are okay if I put it in via the Twitter thing. We'll find out if I get a content copyright smackdown. Then so be it. So be it. Big up Sean, PH family. For some reason, I think we might possibly win today. We always pick out a shock result when we're expected to get nothing from the game. Yeah, I don't think we will personally. I like the optimism. I think we're going to get beaten 4-0. But I hope you're right. Massively hope you're right. I just think that Liverpool are going to. They're at home. They usually always beat us at home. We haven't won there for a long, long time, and it's their big day, isn't it? They're not going to want to delay it any longer. You know. Goated intro, says H. Appreciate that, mate. Either that or we get absolutely. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I'll take the latter. Morning, Sean. Everyone watching from the US. Good to see you. King, whereabouts in the US are you, mate? Good to see you. Coys, let's spoil the party. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Offshore, Mike. Where are you, mate? On an oil rig somewhere? Good Wi-Fi out there, is it? Big up, everyone. Big up, Sean. Big up. Libby doesn't care about the multi-team ownership. Well, he did. He did in the 90s. He was the groundbreaker on it. So maybe he's ahead of the curve. That article that I read out yesterday afternoon, it gave a spin on the MCO thing that's just like, it was, I think they were really more talking about it from the micro teams that play pecking order politics, but generally speaking, a lot of failures, very few success stories, which I've always said, you know, if you're going to do it, you have to get it right. It's not like we're going into it blind, is it? They're acting like Levy himself hooked his phone up to the Uggs. I think it was on Friday with me, Johnny Barryson and myself were talking about the need for a new anthem coming out of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that's something similar to North London Forever. 48 hours later, we get, well, not something similar. We literally get North London Forever. You know, Johnny was asking for an anthem. He got the anthem. He wasn't happy. Some people were never happy. Danny Kiriakou. Good to see you, mate. How you doing? Ufafu. Remember that? Ufafu? What was that from? Gladiators? No, that was from some comedy show from back in the day. Never mind the Buzzcocks. Something, whatever. What happened last night at the stadium, Shawnee? I just explained it. It was not. Oh, by the way, the fight though. The fight. Wowzers. Huh? Wowzers. The 20 quid that I paid for that undercard was a joke. And then at some point they pivoted to have some like game of Street Fighter. Two people in the stadium, the e-gamers, that had a Street Fighter double leg for like 15 minutes between fights. And I was like, what is this? It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace. But then the final fight was just absolutely insane, wasn't it? Two absolute warriors. I didn't have a bet, and I'm glad I didn't because I backed, I wanted Benn to win. But unbelievable. Speed versus size and strength, you know? Just absolute. Both of those fighters should wake up this morning and be incredibly proud. That hook from Colin Benn that rocked Eubank Jr. in I think it was the fourth round or the third round. And I think it broke his jaw. And then Eubank Jr. went on to fight for the next 8 rounds with a broken jaw. Madness, mate, madness. That fight last night was the most entertaining thing in the stadium since it was built, says Miss 100%. And there was more bad blood on that in that ring. Then apparently, according to Mr. Winus, which is another story we're going to talk about in a minute, from Give Me a Football Insider exclusive. Sorry, not a Give Me Sport exclusive, a Football Insider exclusive. Winus, the ex-Everton CEO, who's now an advisor to football teams, is saying that Tottenham's back room, changing room, dressing room, there's like toxicity left, right. I don't know how he would know. We'll get to that story in a minute. We've also got a story about Marcus Rashford, he's out of Aston Villa. He's at the end of his Aston Villa time. We've also got a story about Jack Grealish. We've got a story about Mark Guehi, and we have a story about from Fabrizio Romano, who basically is saying that Romero wants to go. We'll get to that stuff in a little while, boys and girls. We'll get to that stuff in a second. Let me get back to where was I in the chat. I'll moan at Levy for a lot of things, but unless he was DJ Levy, then who cares? I agree, Matt. I agree. Makes sense now. Yep. To be fair, I can't stand Levy, but the stadium was rented out to Turkey, and he can do what he wants from there. There you go. Apart from changing anything on the property, exactly, mate. Like, we're just playing venue manager, aren't we? It's like saying Arsenal fans aren't allowed to sing their songs when they come to our ground. Yeah, it is. Levy is an events manager but can't manage Spurs' success. Yep. £4 million. We've done that one already. What are we going to? I got a good take you will like. Hit the fucking link then, mate. You can come on and talk to me if you want. I've got a good take you will like. I might like it. Don't tell me what I will and won't like, Danny. Just hit the link and come on. Stop talking about it. Sean Dude, the interminable Richalison fan. I finally catch you live, on a live, rather than secondhand. How are you, my man? I am good, David Jones. I am good, mate. It's good to see you in the chat. I didn't know you've been waiting. You've been waiting to catch me. But it's nice to see you, mate. And thank you for the membership. Thank you for the support of the channel. The interminable Richalison fan. Yeah. Well, listen, I'll just, say it as I see it. See, on that sort of stuff, it's all emotion, isn't it? It's just like, well, do you rate the player otherwise? And to be honest, the other day I was bullied into a corner a little bit by the other three who said that neither of the options are good. And by the way, Mateta, what did Henry say? Future FA Cup winner. He's going to love saying it. He's going to love a little cheeky appearance on the channel saying that, isn't he? If it happens. Sean, if you truly believe that, then you are too far gone. Oh, so you think that it's unacceptable as well? You're part of the millions of people that think it's unacceptable. I would argue, mate, that it's you that's too far gone. If you think that there should be clauses in the venue manager's contract that prevent Arsenal fans, boxers, what happens if he wasn't an Arsenal fan? He just happened to like the song. Can he still not have it? Come on. It's madness. It's absolute madness. And to be honest, everyone that's come out on Twitter and had a crack at my take, they've all got Levy out in their profile. They've all got pictures of the protests. So I'm kind of on the other side of you on that one, Rude Kuva. I like your name there, mate. I like your name. Sunny 2. Watch, not there. What are we talking about? Not sure what you're saying. Oh, leaving. Nikos Carlo is going to be the Brazil manager. What did we get to? He's just finishing his lunch. Good. I don't want a hangry Danny Kiriakou. I'll take a fully fed, slightly sleepy, and always late Danny Kiriakou, but not a hangry one. If you're hangry, that Greek side of you, mate, can come out, and then we can have a Barney. Let's find your good take. I'm looking forward to hearing your good take. I'm looking forward to a Palace Forest FA Cup final. Yeah. But you know what will happen if that happens? I'll cheer for that, and I'll cheer for a new winner. But I'll get the what you say now, Sean? Another winner that's not Tottenham. Leave you out. It's good. It's good to spread it round a little bit more. I hope we win the Europa League for so many more reasons than just Tottenham. Anyway, people, smash the like, smash the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's get into the show. I hope that I'm not going to be in trouble if I use this, but this is from Haters TV. I need to get up on the screen, don't I? Pause. When I get my share screen, present, share screen, Twitter. Hang on. All right. So this is him
Ange Postecoglou says he no longer supports Liverpool ahead of Spurs' trip to Anfield, where a point will guarantee the Reds being champions. Let's listen to this one first.
And you spoke about as a child you supported Liverpool. Is it a bit weird now you can potentially be spoiling their title party? Is there any emotion there this week, or is it all strictly business?
No, mate, I'm a almost 60-year-old adult. I've gone past my boyhood crushes, so it's got no impact whatsoever. I have great admiration for the football club. Yes, I supported it when I was younger, but that was 50 odd years ago. So we've well and truly moved on since then.
This is the other one. What do you get to?
I'm trying to change the perception of the club. I think there is this narrative of, trying to set this club up for some sort of fall consistently, and that there is no sort of allowance for any kind of building of foundations for something a bit different than before. The one thing you do know is what doesn't work here. Yes, I'm trying to do things very, very differently. Hasn't all worked out for sure. Some of it's gone disastrously wrong. I accept that. I said from the start, I think we needed to chart a different course if we were ever going to break the cycle that this club's been in. And bizarrely, we're still in that kind of position where we can do that. I've never taken it personally. I've never taken it as against me, even if it was against me. But I think there is a kind of narrative around this club has been on a downward spiral again, or going down the same rabbit holes it has in the past, where I just think this is totally different. There's been very little acknowledgement of that. And some of it's just me poking the bear a bit as well, mate, which I get. Maybe it's my Aussie humour, but it certainly gets lost a great number of times when I say things tongue-in-cheek. Again, I think if people seriously think that I would say to our supporters, you've got to put up with me for a little bit longer, it's just madness. That was never, ever going to be the case.
Thank you very much, Brian Boru. Did I is that the comment you're talking about? Hoping you don't take any 3+ weeks breaks again. They weren't break. Well, they're not intended breaks, mate. They're forced breaks. Because the police told me if I want my crime against me investigated, then I have to investigate it myself. And so that's what I've done in the last year of my life. I took most of last summer off in the peak of transfer market. I'll come back to that in a second. Peak of transfer market stuff, and it's because I was getting obviously peak of the hack, and didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Didn't know what I was doing, investigating things, trying things, experimenting with settings and things. Probably made it worse. Then went on courses, learned cybersecurity. Feel like now I know more about Apple's ecosystem than anyone I ever speak to at Apple, including senior tech advisors that I say, "What's this? What's that? Is this or is this that?" And they've never heard of it before. And then I've obviously had to learn code as well, thanks to ChatGPT and Grok. So when I go on these breathers, it's usually because I've pissed these people off enough for them to then screw with my internet and take away access to accounts and things. But yeah, the police don't seem to give a shit. You know how hard it is to investigate a crime against you on a device that is constantly compromised, or new devices that are ripped apart and compromised by the time you install them, on networks that you can't ever clear the cache on. It's difficult. And it's been super stressful. Those bastards have taken everything from me, but we march on. But I appreciate the comments, mate. Appreciate the comments. Rainman, morning, Sean. Morning. You think Mikey will get some minutes? We got nothing to lose. Well, the fans, some of the fans will always find a reason to have a moan about something, mate. So yeah, Ange might lose a few more hair follicles. Let's go for so he said. First of all, he's trying to change something, and I listen. He's a brilliant spin doctor, isn't he? He's a brilliant spin artist. He's Shane Warne levels of being able to justify, explain but at the same time take advantage, take accountability. But I've said before, to me, it comes across like I've been a manager of many people, and you get some people that are salesmen and they come in and they explain, they justify, they wear their heart on their sleeve, and this time it's going to be different, boss. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I could do more, and I just got things going on. And you're like, okay, I've heard this before. It's nice that you're not denying that you're underperforming, but I need to see more in the way of actual input. And you don't. All you hear is another spin the next time. It's like the dog ate my homework. Okay. maybe the dog did eat your homework once, but I doubt it, but once. But if the dog's still eating your homework, then stop putting your fucking homework in the dog's dinner bowl, you know? And I just think he's a bit of a spin artist. He says all the right things. At the same time, if you are a player who plays for him, then you're going to appreciate the fact that he, for the most part, apart from very rare circumstances, doesn't throw the mud at the team, right? The team have got away. Like, it's not all on him. Let's be honest, right? The team is better than our league position, far better. But at the end of the day, Ange isn't kicking the goals or missing them. Ange isn't like lapsing concentration. There's obviously a pizza pie of blame. Everybody gets a slice. Daniel Levy, Donna Cullen, Johan Lang, Paratici, over the years. Everybody, the managers, the players, the coaches, the medical team, everybody gets a slice. It's a unified outfit where if, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And in a falling tide sinks all ships, to invert the common phrase, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. Well, a falling tide sinks all ships. And so, you need to, bake that in. Maddison hasn't been good enough this year. Romero, not good enough. Sonny, not good enough. Guehi, good in parts, then rusty. Richalison, Solanke, Pedro Porro. All of those parts should get a slice of the pie as well. But the media don't go after that. The media go after him. And if you're a player who plays under him, then either through ego, where you just don't think you're responsible anyway, where you see things like Guehi saying it's not good enough, where you see Romero saying things like, I need to be in Spain. Well, the reason, if you're unhappy at Tottenham's performance, look in the mirror a little bit, because it's your mistakes that are part of the reason why we are where we are in the league. And it's your effort is why we are where we are in part in the Europa League, right? So it's everyone gets a slice, but Ange takes it all. He wears it all. I don't think he wears it well. I think he gets very angry with it. But at least if you're a player, you're going to either, because of ego, be happy for him to take it, or just if you don't have that ego and you are just, you're going to be protective of the guy who's saying, blame me if you want. Yeah, it's not been perfect, but also, there's this and this reason why it's not as bad as you say it is. And also that means that the players are being told, forget about the narrative, because we all know what's going on. Going back to the stone cutter analogy. And that's why this is not the first time this season. This is the 100th time. I don't think there's been another manager who has had so many vocal, audible demonstrations from his squad. And I could be wrong about that because I don't watch other teams' player interviews. But I think that there is an unbelievable amount of content from every player, every senior player in the squad who's come out and defended his manager. And here's another one for you right now. Thanks again, Last Word on Spurs. Get over to the brilliant boys over there. This is from Optus Sport.
For the managerial aspect, technical aspect that he wants, to play, is a fantastic human being in the way he approaches people and in the way also he teaches people how also to behave and to live life. So I will always remember for my entire life the way he speaks to the team in the meetings, in the reviewing of the games, to preparing the game is a big deal. It's a big part of his personality. It's a big part of his human being. And then, of course, his style of coaching is the way that he wants to deliver football to people, to change, a little bit of this kind of mentality, how you want to do and how you want to go into a game. Is a big deal because it's an untraditional, play of football. So if you embrace that, of course you will love it. Before the managerial aspect,
another one, right? Another example, Vicario. Who are the senior players that haven't come out and defended him? I don't think Maddison has. Romero has, whilst also criticising the board. Guehi has. Vicario has. Sonny has. Brennan Johnson has. Has Bentancur? Last season he did. Like most of the English-speaking players
that can get across I can articulate. They've come out. I don't think Maddison has, which is actually quite interesting, isn't it? As a senior leader, maybe I'm wrong about that. As a vice captain of the team, he hasn't, which is what can you tell from that? But like I say, right, I think that to me, Ange is doing. Oh, good to see you, Davey boy. Good to see you, mate. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. I know you're going live in a little while, aren't you? So if you want to pop on for 15 or whatever before you do, more than welcome to. The notion that that Ange is all to blame is wrong. There's always that pizza pie, and the fact that he does what he does in front of the media, I think the players appreciate it. And so, then again, the notion that if we win the Europa League, it's because of the players, not because of Ange. Again, I think. How do I say this? It harks back to the buck stops at the top argument, right? Like, you can't cherry pick your accountability pending your narrative. You can't ascribe fortune to why we're successful, and yet the failure lands at the feet of Daniel Levy. If Daniel Levy's responsible for all at the club, that's what the buck stops at the top means, which I think is it's an okay argument. It's logically fine to make. The buck stops at the top. Cool. But that means you have to give the good and the bad to Daniel Levy. And I'll be really interested to see whether or not, if we win the Europa League, whether or not the people that absolutely despise Daniel Levy will lay off a little bit, or at least that you haven't got to change your mind. Just like if Ange Postecoglou wins the Europa League, you haven't got to then say he should stay. Like, you can still say thank you next. You can still be Levy out, but if we lose in the final or the semi-final, there will be uproar, right? There will be absolute uproar, and it will be all at Daniel Levy and Ange Postecoglou's feet. But if we win, will those people be consistent? And that's what I look for. When I speak to people, I don't care how you get to. I don't care where you land. Just how you get there is important to me. And I think that there's a too much emotion, not enough consistency in people's logic. And similarly, I think that with Ange Postecoglou, if we win the Europa League, you have to give the guy the credit, because he does become the most successful manager in Tottenham's 45-year history. And that is like palpably important. Will he walk away? Will he be fired anyway? Probably. If he isn't, will he be gone by Christmas next year? In all likelihood, probably. But you have to be consistent with the notion. If trophies are what you want, then if we get a trophy, you can't rewrite the rule books because it doesn't suit the narrative. It doesn't suit your agenda. Or you can do what you want. I'm not telling anyone how to, but I'm just not going to appreciate or respect the take. And I don't, you can feel how you feel about people's takes, but like, I think it's wildly inconsistent if people reshape expectations so that they can maintain consistency with their stance about anything. Ange, Sonny, me, you, life, the government, Daniel Levy. That's all I want is consistency. Like I say, Saba, don't agree with a lot of the things he says, right? We're polar opposites on a lot of the takes on Tottenham, but I can respect the way he gets there, because he can at least ascribe consistent logic in how he gets from A to B, and that's more than enough for me. Everything else is irrelevant. Like, as long I don't care where you land, I appreciate different opinions, as long as you get there as long as you get there with a method that I can understand. He's eating toast. Would love to do something with you, mate. Would love to. Yeah, been too long, buddy. And I'll come on your channel this time. He can't get pumped, says Elvis, for today. This is an inevitability. Yeah, it is. It is. Is there any chance that there's, like, against Forest? I know people were like, "Oh, it was terrible." Another one against Ange. I actually thought we played well in the game. I actually thought we deserved to win. I actually thought that there was some really impressive performances from a couple of people who I think are still fighting for their spot. I think they think that, for different reasons. I think that Wilson Odebear looks at Brennan Johnson and thinks, I can actually command that spot on the right. I really do. Because Brennan Johnson is a lot of things, but he's not a lot of things as well. And so I think Wilson Odebear is fighting for his place in the semi-finals and the final. And I think that Matisse Tell is too.
even though I think Matisse Tell will ultimately, no matter what he does, come up short in the world where Sonny's fit. I think it was the first person I heard say this take was Emerson Royal. He's like, I think that there's going to be a Harry Kane Champions League final thing going on here. You know, where Matisse Tell might get us there, but then Sonny comes in and puts in a stinker in the final and yada, yada, yada. His consistent logic is that he knows better. How is that logic? Is that me or Saba? No. His consistent logic. When I say consistent logic, I'm not going to sit here and throw any shade on Saba at all. I know everyone. He's Marmite, right? Because he's strong feelings. Like people hate me because I'm strongly opinionated and confident enough in my take to not worry about whether it's popular or otherwise. I'll say what I feel, and I respect that about him. But if I ask Saba why does he think that Richarlison is a better striker than Solanke, he will say, well, first of all, I don't think either of them are good enough for Tottenham, right? Which leans into his narrative, which, as I've said before, like when I go on his channel and end up after having a few ciders or whatever, and then getting into a row with Lubo or someone or Saba, then I look at I don't often look at the comments on other people's channels after I've been on there, but sometimes people reach out to me and go, "Oh, mate, I'm sorry, you're getting a hard time of it." And I was like, "Oh, am I? I better go and see." Not the water for ducks back, but obviously, like 99% of the comments are like, "Yeah, Sean's like," and the reason for me why that is maybe because my behaviour on the stream is not good enough or whatever. But on top of that, it's because Saba's cultivated an audience that feels the way he does about the Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, which is, generally speaking, the grass is greener elsewhere, right? The club isn't good enough, the owner's not good enough, the manager's not good enough, and the players aren't good enough. And it's fine if he feels that way. It's absolutely fine. But when I say to him, why is Richarlison better than Solanke? He will say, there's 10 reasons, and here they are. Bang, 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 bang. And you know, he's figured out his opinion and he can back it up with statistics. And then if you give him some counter arguments, he'll say, well, that's fine. But here's how I feel about those things. These are not as important as these for these reasons. And like I say, that's consistent logic, right? That's consistent. He's come to his opinion. It's different when someone says the buck stops at the top. And then you go, okay, well, on that basis, are you going to call Daniel Levy a legend if we win the Europa League? No, because we were lucky as hell to get there. That's not consistent. That's inconsistent. You've got a predetermined outcome. You want to get to B, but your pathway from A to B does this. And you'll go backwards and you'll move the goalpost and all that to get there. That to me is inconsistent. And I don't think Saba would ever do that. If Saba wants Levy gone, but if Saba was to be asked, should Daniel Levy get credit for taking us to the Europa League, he would say, on the basis that if he is responsible for us, if he is responsible if he is rightly criticised when we lose to Ipswich, then he should be rightly praised for winning the Europa League. And that's all I want. Anyway. H is saying he doesn't like his takes, but he's consistent. He is consistent. Oh, actually, he's not. I saw. He's got a pinned video on his chat that says Tottenham are going to win the Europa League, and here's why. And I remember him for the last 6 months saying that Bilbao are going to win the league. So maybe he's changed his. It's okay to change your tune, by the way. It's also okay to change your tune, but I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of bandwagoning there. Bandwagoning. The link is pinned to the chat, Danny Kiriakou. The link is pinned to the chat, mate. Look up. Bro, look up. Like Decky does. Dwarf in a basketball convention. I'm going to show you the last little bit from Twitter before we move on. This was the actual video I wanted to show you. Done that one. Here we go. Oh. Hang on. Got to get it up first. Pause. Let's go.
I love the frenzy around finishing 5th this year. They're all brilliant, aren't they? We finished 5th last year. Why is it such a disaster that we finished 5th? And that's what you need to ask everyone and yourselves is that why? In fact, around this time last year, I was asked to lose a game. And I was wrong for wanting to win it. But we finished 5th last year.
Facts on that one.
But
Facts, bro.
it's not a good story. The better story is that my tenure has been a disaster, and it continues.
That is facts, right? It might be spin, but it is facts. Like, where's the consistency? Again, we've been talking about consistency. 5th last year wasn't good enough. 5th this year suddenly is celebrated as a miracle. Is it just because that we didn't cross the line? The line crossed us in terms of 4th versus 5th qualifying for the Champions League. But on that basis, if Champions League qualification equals the reason to be celebrated, then he should get a little bit more praise for getting us on the cusp of doing the same thing via the other route. But he isn't. He feels sorry for himself. So when I say he's dying on the hill and he's wearing that shield to protect his team, I think there is an element of truth to that. There is an element of truth to it. But I think it's also like conflated with he's a very, very proud Australian man. And as I say, I've lived in Australia, love Australian people, love Antipodeans, love Kiwis. They're just a brilliant part of the Western culture that's parked in a different corner of the planet. But they've got a different relationship with life and work-life balance and all these things. But there's a hell of a lot of that kind of Greek, like Southeastern European pride and volatility in a lot of Australians, even if they don't have Greek names. Generally speaking, in my experience, most Australian men are incredibly proud and don't want to like go down without a fight on their performance. And I think a lot of that is baked into why he says what he says, alongside the idea of protecting his team, which, as I say, I think is very much respected and appreciated by elements of the first team squad that are in numbers coming out and defending him. I think in a way to demonstrate, hey, we appreciate you for what you're doing in the media and taking it all on the chin for us. But I'm not going to be silent and leave you out there to die alone. We've got your back as much as you've got ours, but we don't have the opportunity to be put in front of the cameras as often as you do. And therefore, when we do, we're going to come out and say good things about you, so that it looks like, at least what we see, that there is unison. However, as you're going to come and see in a minute, the Football Insider article, not that one. Where is it? Not football. Maybe it's one of these other ones. I'll come to it in a second. I'll find it in a minute. There is what am I doing here? Let's finish that little thing off.
Continues to be. I just think that the kind of hysteria that's surrounding what's happening at the moment is all kind of premeditated for a certain outcome, and hopefully we can defy that. If you asked any Tottenham supporter what's the most important thing for them right now, who's going to be the manager next year or whether they win this thing, 100% of them would say, listen, just make sure we give ourselves the best opportunity to create some history.
Yeah. See, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. That's fine, international observer. I don't disagree that he's not the right guy for us. But whilst he's here, we can analyse and critique and consider, contemplate the motivations for the behaviours in which you see. And I think that there's more to him just feeling sorry for himself than meets the eye. And I think that the never-ending demonstration of most of the senior players in the squad coming out when they get the few opportunities that they do to say the things that they say about him, I think it's some level of appreciation that there is a guy, the captain of the ship, if you like, the captain of the footballing side of the ship, that is wearing that shield to protect his team to some degree, or at least maybe that's how it's spun. Like he's a spin. Maybe he's saying that stuff in the dressing room. Maybe he's saying they're making out I'm cracking out there, guys. They're making out I'm cracking. I'm not cracking. I'm solid as a rock. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing is to protect you. Maybe he's saying that. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But that's how I interpret it. That's how I interpret it. Rayman saying, facts, really, I won't recall a single Spurs fan saying they wanted us to lose. I recall plenty saying they didn't care as much as usual if we lost. Bro, Are you kidding me? Mate, there were like, forget about the Man City game. There were channels that were like, I had this row with Lubo on his stream. Lubo was part of channels and part of an ecosystem people that were saying the Levy out movement changed for Tottenham. It's getting some momentum. The worst thing that could happen right now is if we go and lift the Carabao Cup. Better yet, let's get relegated. I said to Lubo on Savage stream, I said, did you say that? Or am I imagining it? Because I've got the recording. He went, yeah, I did. I'd say it again. I'd do it again. If it meant that he would leave, I would happily go and spend a year in the Championship. And I would be happy if we didn't win the cup. So the entire reason you're angry with Daniel Levy is because we don't win enough trophies. Yet as soon as the momentum is starting to gather, you know, a rolling stone gathers no moss, snowballs down the hill. As soon as the momentum is getting there because of a terrible season, suddenly we're still in the semi-final, well, 2 semi-finals this year, but you're in the semi-final of one cup. Suddenly the prospect of winning a trophy is bad news and something to root against. And better yet, let's send us down, which fundamentally screws us up for 5 years and also wouldn't inevitably get to the outcome that you want, because Daniel Levy's going to sit there and say, oh, I ain't going to sell this prized gem at 30 pence in the pound, because in all likelihood, we'll be back up next year anyway. We're surely too good for the Championship. Yeah, right? So Daniel Levy's not going to sell when the market's down, right? He's a smart guy. 12 months later, the valuation of the club is back where it was, but Tottenham as a football club are sent back a decade. Look at Leicester. Look what happened to Villa until they got their new owners that came in. But this guy, who I like, I love Lubo. He's a really nice guy, really lovely bloke. But like, I can separate the man from the opinion. The opinion stinks, as does anyone who says, in my opinion, that we should lose to City. Because don't forget that those 3 extra points, I believe, I can't remember, let me know if I'm wrong about this, but those 3 points that day would have been the difference between finishing 5th and 4th, right? I think that's true. Might be I'm wrong about that. So, like, yeah, I called it out at the time. So, Rayman, like, anyone that says they want us to lose against City, yeah, they did. Loads of people said they want us to lose against City because giving Arsenal the title or letting them back into the race is more important, or not letting them get back into the race is more important than what's good for Tottenham. Like, Arsenal losing is more important than Tottenham winning. Madness, to me, madness. It's like caring more about what your friends think of you than what you think of yourself. Madness. Or even your enemies. Giving a shit what your enemies think of you is more important than what you think of yourself. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? You know, people aren't going to be happy whatever you do. So at the end of the day, say what you want, do what you want, as long as you're okay with it. Give a shit what the haters say. But yeah, that replicated in the fan base. Look, you saw it last night. You saw it last night with the Twitter thing, with the song, the singing of playing a fucking song. Absolute, like, just outrage merchants. Any reason to be unhappy? I worry about what is going on. Like, how sad, how miserable, not sad as in like pathetic, sad as in like unhappy can someone be where, I mean, there's a phrase, right? Misery loves company. And it sells, mate. It sells in football. It fucking sells. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not for me. It's not for me. But anyway, to make your point, you might not remember a single Spurs fan wanting us to lose. Yes, there was thousands of them, like a massive slice of the fan base. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a thing. The fact that Ange was even made aware of it is because it was a giant slab of the fan base. And that was also replicated in a worst version, I mean, Ange probably wasn't aware of the fact that there was people out there that were saying, let's lose in the cup to Liverpool because God forbid the Levy out movement goes away. As I say, that was only based and predicated on the notion that we don't win enough trophies. But the opportunity to win a trophy comes along, that's bad for our cause. How about, you know, the cause should be what's good for Tottenham. But to double down on that and say relegation as well, and then I get accused by Lubo, by the way. It wasn't just Lubo. As I say, love Lubo. But then I get accused of not being a real Tottenham fan because I look at the accounts. Says the guy who wants us to get relegated. Madness. But like I say, I love Lupo. He's a good guy. But on that particular bit, absolutely crazy. No, Sean, you're wrong. Even beating City, we would have needed Villa to lose the final game for us to have even a chance of fourth. Okay. All right. Still, like, it doesn't change my point. But even fine, that's fine. I'll wear that one. I'm a data scientist, Sean. I'm trained to ignore the outlying 5%. It's not 5% though, mate. It would have been. It wouldn't have. 5% of people is irrelevant. No one's paying attention to that noise, mate. But like the fact that Ange was asked about it, the fact that media were reporting on it, it was. I reckon. Well, let's find out what Danny Kyriakou says. He's got an interesting take. How you doing, Danny?
I'm good. How are you, Sean? Nice to see you, mate.
It's good to see you, mate. You all right? Keeping well?
I know. Yeah, very good, mate. Very, very good. I had a good morning. I played some padel with Mr. Simeon and my brother-in-law and Amir, and it's good fun. Yeah, it's good. You know the sport that everyone in this country likes to call paddle. It's like the kind of like five-a-side tennis. It's actually called padel, but no, it's really good fun. I've been a few times now, so it's good. It's good fun. Sun was coming out. Sim got battered in the second game, so couldn't have had a better morning, mate.
Love that. Good, mate. Well, I'm glad you got a bit of exercise in front of you. Listen, you're usually a miserable bastard when it comes to Tottenham, mate. So tell me what this.
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not even a miserable bastard when it comes to Tottenham. I'm just realistic. That's all. Like,
were you rooting for Tottenham to lose to City that day?
Yes, I was. Shameless. I don't care.
Right, man?
I was.
Later. Yeah, go on.
I was. I definitely was. But just on that point that you were making earlier on about the ring walk thing in the stadium. I mean, I've seen a lot of fans go absolutely like mental about it. I'm with you, Sean. I think when I first saw it, I laughed. I thought it was funny. I genuinely thought that was. You got to give him credit for actually walking out with a robe that had the Gunners logo on the back of it, and then
great banter.
What banter! That was amazing.
Then to come back, and when he loses, the Tottenham guys thought about this and gone, "I'll have the other song coming out." Like amazing. For me, that is what you call entertainment, and I think that is more entertaining than anything I've seen at the Spurs Stadium this season. So for me, that was brilliant. I mean, the fact that he was standing there, you hear the "Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur" song on the background, and then say when Spurs go marching on. I mean, I'm sorry, but that was absolutely brilliant. I thought that was amazing. I thought it as well. Sean, I just don't understand why people are getting like, oh, he can't. Why is Levy allowing this? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Like that. Look, I'm a complete polar opposite to you when it comes to Levy. We all know this, right? People who know my take on Levy, I don't want him at the club. But the fact that people are sitting there thinking that he's got some kind of control of what songs boxers can play in their ring walks is absolutely just delusional. And it's more than that. More than that, right?
It's ridiculous.
Same million people,
Sean.
Mate, that same slice of the fan base. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there was an article that dropped that said Tottenham lost the gig over a song condition, wouldn't those same million people go, "Oh, Daniel Levy, that business genius, yeah"?
Yeah, probably 100%. I think. Look, the fact is, he cannot control that because that is like people were saying, if they want to call him an event manager, right? If he's managing an event, he can't tell them what they can and can't do in their stadium because that's what's bringing in the punters, right? And I guarantee you that clip got more traction about the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and about Tottenham than what we've been seeing lately. So the fact that that's bringing in interest into the club or whatever it is, fans looking at it, fans knowing the Tottenham Hotspur name more. Look, we all know, people know my views on Levy, and we're not going to discuss that now. But on that just instance of what happened, I just think it's just
you want to get.
No, there's no point. There's no point.
You can try,
Sean. You can try. because maybe we'll get into
Do you know
it.
what?
But,
Do you know what?
I just think it's silly. It's just.
I refused to pay Sky box office yesterday because I got a problem with Sky. I think Sky a dog shit company, but I
agree.
Well, I paid DAZN instead, the 20 quid.
Yeah,
and the commentary was all right for the fights, but they spoke so glowingly about Tottenham Hotspur and the stadium so much, and they referenced like the local rivalry and all these things so frequently. And everywhere you look, there was Tottenham Hotspur in the background. All this, it was everywhere. And you know what? On DAZN, you have like a live chat, like what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
And it was full of Americans that were like watching because they love boxing. Well, some people love boxing over there.
Yeah.
And they were all talking about what an incredible stadium it was, and talking about. I even saw one person go like, "AO, if I'm gonna pick soccer as my next sport, then Tottenham my team. Look at that stadium." Like, it was my first experience. I've never been to the stadium for a non-match event, but I think it's my first experience actually watching a fight on one of these streaming services and seeing how much you saw the branding. And it rams home to me. It reinforces that narrative that the naming rights, yes, that is a quantifiable value on the balance sheet.
Oh, 100%.
But not having the naming rights, right? Having just Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is an unquantifiable but very, very real value prop. Danny, I'm going to let you answer. My battery's about to go.
Go on.
I'm going to get my battery. Okay, 1 second.
Sure. Go on, I'll wait. But no, I don't know what other people thought, but I just think it's honestly so stupid that people think that if people think that actual instance yesterday is something to just bang the Daniel Levy sort of Levy out momentum or whatever it is, because it's just stupid. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we can't control what boxers are gonna play from a ring walk or not. It's ridiculous. I mean, look, I have my opinions on where I think that money goes. That's a different story. But the fact that the money is coming in, there's no way Daniel Levy is going to say, like Sean said earlier, put a clause in the guys' in their contract saying you can't play certain music. I mean, it's just not real. It's not the real world. That's just not the world we live in. And the fact is, Daniel Levy is a businessman. And the best thing about that whole thing is that the Spurs fan, who was the fighter who he fought against, beat him. So you can't ask for more than that. So I don't know what fans are complaining about. It just gives it even more banter because then he played the Tottenham song after. So I just don't understand. But yeah, Peter, what happened was there was last night, one of the undercard fighters before the main event, he walked out with Arsenal's song. What was it? The Forever song. And he walked out with like a robe with the gunner's cannon on the back of it, and basically like giving us banter because he's in the Tottenham stadium. So he had the Arsenal song on, and then just as he's walking out, you see the Tottenham Hotspur name above him, and then obviously it goes into the fight. But then the funny thing is that the guy who he fought against was a Tottenham fan who beat him, and then they played the Tottenham song after. So I thought that was great entertainment. I thought that was brilliant.
Do you reckon there's any like 4D chess going on there? I didn't know either of those boxers, to be honest. I mean, I do follow boxing, but my absence to internet access has been maybe kind of lose touch a little bit with the undercard. But do you reckon if the guy who won was the favourite, do you reckon like even I don't think the conversation even happened. But is there an outside chance that the conversation went, yeah, go on, let him play the Arsenal song? Because if the expected outcome is what we think, then we'll do the Tottenham song afterwards and smash him.
Maybe. I don't know. I think that would have been something within their own camp, not like as a discussion with the other camp. Like I think that if he's good, like they probably didn't know that he was going to do that. But then they probably thought like, okay, well, if we beat him, maybe they have this thing where if we win, because we're in the Tottenham stadium, we'll play the Tottenham song.
Well, that's it. So, but maybe it didn't. Maybe that wasn't in a camp thing. Because I'm thinking about the other fights. When all of the other fights, when the winner was announced, there was no song that played immediately. The only time there was a fight when a song was played immediately was when he won, right? So, like maybe it was something. Maybe the DJ Maybe the DJ went, you know what? If the Tottenham fan wins this one, then if he does, then we'll play that song as soon as he comes out, just to make sure he knows where he is.
I thought that was funny. I thought that was such good entertainment. Like as a from a neutral as a boxing fan, and I didn't know who the two fighters were, to be honest. But to see that, I thought it was great fun. Like, it's good banter. I mean, what's wrong with that? I don't understand that. Like, and people are using that to bash Daniel Levy. I think it's just stupid, if I'm honest. And people know my views on Levy. It's just dumb, honestly. It's just another thing to moan about. It's another thing to moan about. Like, what? Why do you need to moan about that? Honestly, it's nothing. It means nothing.
Mate, any stick will do, right? Anything will do. Anything will do.
But there's actual genuine reasons for having stick. For example, I'll give you an example, Sean. What Daniel Levy's done for next season to fans who, for example, you have to buy a membership now if you want to transfer a season ticket to a friend, for example. Like now he's forcing people to pay for memberships if they want to go to a game now. Whereas before, you could transfer a ticket to a friend who, say, if you couldn't go to the game for free. But now you have to actually have a membership. That's disgusting. But this thing about the boxing thing, it's got nothing to do with it. It's just stupid.
That's interesting. And yeah, I think that's not great. But I tell you what, I think that possibly is all part of the same, because there's also another rule that's coming in with away tickets, right? Which I think the away allocation of football tickets at Tottenham and everywhere else, but I don't know everyone else's system, but at Tottenham, right, like the people that have the points always take up their allocation. And even if they don't want to go, right, they'll sell the ticket either to a mate for 30 quid or to a stranger for 200, but they get the points anyway. So it's a case of like the haves always get more and the have-nots never get any. And so you can't bridge that gap. So that's why when you go to the away games, it's always the same people. And, you know, like, I think that's outrageous. I think that, yes, loyalty needs to be rewarded. People that have been going for years need to have a chance to continue their loyalty for sure. But I think a segment of the allocation needs to go to a names out of a hat thing, like Wimbledon, right? Like when you go to Wimbledon, if you're into tennis, you put your name when you get a ticket, you go there, you put your name down on the ballot, and then you might get lucky, you might not, right? But I'm not saying it has to be 100% that way, but like 50%. If Tottenham go to Manchester United or go to Newcastle or whatever, 50% of the away allocation should go to it should go to a ballot. And I think
I agree. I agree.
Like if you are someone that is, 0 points to 50 points, then you get one name in the hat. If you've got 50 to 100 points, which isn't enough to get a ticket by demand, then you get two names in the hat for every. You know what I mean? Like based on sort of. It's still loyalty,
I agree.
It also brings in luck, so that other people can access away games because it's a joke.
Yeah.
But what they have done,
I agree.
What they have done to change part of the recipe is that now they're going to all digital tickets for away, so that if you are someone apparently, if you are someone that has enough points but you don't want to go, you can't just sell it on the open market or on the ticket tout website. Right. You have to hand it back to the club, and then the club will give it to the next level down on the point system. But that still just rewards loyalty. It still doesn't give anyone. Doesn't give enough. Like you said, move, but it doesn't give enough in the way of access to people that want to go to away games.
I agree. It's like you said, right? You have to have that kind of a bit of fairness. So I understand the people who have more points are the ones who because I know they do it over a 5-year period now rather than what they used to do where it was like over 10, 15 years of worth of points, whatever it was. So now it's a bit more fairer, but still the people who do have more points are the ones who go to most of home and away games, but they're the ones who only get the tickets more often than not, the away tickets. So if they're going to do it more fair, then maybe you can have the allocation they give the away a team. They can give like 50% can go to that kind of same group of people because they're the ones who have the most points and go the most. And then the other 50%, like you said, they have like a system that allows a bit more fairness for the people who don't get a chance to go to them because they don't have enough points. Because me and for you, Sean, as well, I'm sure you could probably say that it's way more fun going to an away game. Like going to an away game is so much more fun. It's so awesome. Much more fun.
Like again, I feel like on this show, I'm calling out Johnny a little bit. I'm not. I've joined. I am, but I'm not doing it in a nasty way. but Johnny made the point the other day that like fans that travel to away games feel more angry than fans who watch the game on the TV. And I'm like, I don't maybe not, but I don't think it's fair. And he wasn't suggesting that people that go away in Europe, for example, are better fans. And even I know he's not saying that, but he says like if you travel away, if you go and spend the money and you travel,
you definitely feel more
performance, then you put it. But at the same time, I just think that like you can't necessarily invoke some argument that people that don't have access, therefore watch it on the TV, feel less angry, because anger is like an emotion thing, whereas ticket access is a financial thing and a loyalty thing, and it's not. They're different arguments. So
they are different arguments, but they do correlate to each other, because I do get where he's coming from. Because like I can imagine, like for example, let's take your example, Sean. Right, you go to imagine you've paid a lot of money to go to Bodo Glimt, right? So you're going to go to the Bodo.
Yeah, imagine. Am I imagining my bank balance at the moment?
No. I know, but I mean, as in like
I have paid,
from someone who's not
spent a lot of money on that ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's now. How would you feel going all the way there and then Tottenham don't even put in a performance and we get battered 4-0? Just as a hypothetical, right? Would you feel more annoyed that the fact that you spent all that money, you've gone all that way, and they don't even give you the decency to put in a performance to even give you something to I would feel
more annoyed by that scenario than had I had the option to go, which I did but declined and watched it on the telly. Right, but if I
but that's understandable.
If I was part of the people that would have gone, had it not been for the lack of access, then to say that those people that don't go, not because they don't want to, but because they can't, to say that they don't feel as angry as those that do and spend the money is a stretch to me, because you can be just as angry and just as passionate or more passionate, but you just happen to live in New Zealand. Or
I get that.
In Canada, and it's just that like the inaccessibility of the ticket that has no bearing on your passion for the football club.
No, I get that too. I do get it. I see both. There's arguments for and against both of that, and I agree with kind of both points, to be honest. Because you're right, it is an accessibility issue. Because even for me, like for example, to be honest with you, from my opinion, going to away games, even if we've lost, I still have more fun, to be honest, because you're having a good social time with a lot of different people. You meet new people all the time, and I prefer that element to it than not just the game. Of course, you want your team to win, and when they win, it makes the day even better because your journey home's nicer, the chats are nicer, everything's much more fun, and it feels like a good day out. And when you lose, especially if you get battered, it doesn't feel great, but you still have an element of you enjoy it.
Direct correlation between the fan bases that are known for having troublesome fight-going type fans like West Ham, Millwall, Luton, Swansea, Cardiff. Their firms are more notoriously, sort of dangerous grounds to go to if you're an away fan. Like you don't really get Manchester City fans these days that want to scrap. And I reckon that's directly correlated to the fact that most of the time Manchester City fans are leaving happy because they won the game. Right. Whereas if you've gone to the game and your team's lost, you're more up for a scrap because you're pissed off that your team lost and you want to take it out on some undeserving fan who I don't know you, but your team just beat us, so I'm going to put a can of Coke through your head.
I think it'd be worse than a can of Coke, Sean.
The Coke comes elsewhere, before and after. Let me ask this game. Liverpool today, how do you feel about it?
Yeah. Not much. I just don't feel anything to it. To me, the league is kind of done, so I don't really care what happens. I mean, it'd be nice not to get absolutely battered. That's all I'm going to say. It'd be nice if we can somehow get a draw. It'd be nice not to be another team that have won a title against us, especially in their home ground. It would be nice, but look, Spurs don't usually get nice things. So look, as long as we don't get battered, I'll be happy, to be honest, because there's no way we're going to win that game. Like, it'd be an absolute miracle. I mean, we've won, I think it's 3 times in our whole history against Liverpool at Anfield. 3 or 4 times, I think it is. and that's saying something.
No,
it is. I think it's 3 or 4 times in the Premier League. It is.
We've got 15 wins at Anfield and
15
wins and 27 draws, and they've got. I think I was watching.
Are you sure you got 15 in the league?
I'm sure I saw it the other day on someone's
in
channel.
The league.
I don't know.
Maybe. Right. You just said you know. Sure, get the facts right, you fraud.
Tottenham versus Liverpool versus Tottenham. Liverpool versus Tottenham, head to head. Head to head at Anfield. Here we go.
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
One.
Yeah, hang on.
In English, not in like all competitions. I'm talking about in the league in English football.
Yeah, hang on. So Liverpool versus Tottenham Hotspur. We have. Hang on. Can I filter this by away?
We've definitely got 2 in.
Games won in the history of Tottenham Hotspur since 1909 until 2025. Games won, Liverpool 92. Games lost 50, and that's at both legs, right? That's at both legs. Now let me see. Liverpool versus Tottenham. We won in 1910. We won in 1912. We won in. Hang on, shooting forward. Jesus, not good. And then 1980. We have. Then we went right.
So is it the last 100 years? Then we've only won 3 times.
So we won in 1910 and 1912. Then we didn't win again at Anfield until 1985. Then 1986. We went 83 years before we won again. Then we lost it. We won in 1985. Then 1986. Then we won in 1993, 1995, 1998. 2011.
Did we win that many times in the 80s? That's like when they were the best.
Yeah, no. So you're right. No, we haven't won a lot. At Anfield. At Anfield, we haven't. But at
in the league, anyway, in the league.
Yeah, in the Premier League and the Premier League in the yeah.
Sorry, I just looked at Kev G's comment. 1910 was a vintage year.
I just heard someone drop in and then drop out again. I think someone just came in and then came out. Whoever that was. Yeah, I heard the dunk, the sound effect.
It's probably. Oh no, that might be my phone.
That was not that thing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, anyway, so
it might be Ranjit, that fraud, because whenever I'm on a stream, he always wants to come on because he loves talking crap.
Ranjit Torino, aka
Barrison Royal.
Royale. About Barrison Royale, we were talking about the other day with him. We were saying that Pedro Porro. If you could merge Pedro and Emerson,
I heard it. Yeah,
Maddison, Porral or whatever we said, right? Apparently today, we've set a price, allegedly, according to reports here, for him to go to Manchester City, who he used to play for. The fact that Liverpool and
Pep system.
Exactly, and the Liverpool system, right? So, like the fact that Liverpool and City, the two best teams arguably in the Premier League, want Pedro Porro, does that say that he's a player that we shouldn't be selling, or does it say that we're not good enough to play in this system?
100%. I think if any Tottenham fan thinks Porro is a bad player, you need to get your eyes checked. You need to go to Specsavers and have an eye test, because what I see in Pedro Porro is one of the most technical players we've got in our squad. He's the only player that can cross a ball. He's the only player who's got one of the best passing ranges in our football club, right? And his defensive ability, when he's actually playing in a system that suits him, is actually good, right? He's not bad, and he's not amazing. He's actually good. And I think the system that we play just tears him apart, because you see it all the time where he's always, most of the time, and the amount of running that guy does up and down that pitch, and he doesn't get injuries often either, right? That is a massive thing for someone like to have a player of that quality. And the fact that he's been linked with top clubs, I've even seen links from Real Madrid. If he's been linked with Real Madrid, Liverpool, Man City, they're not going to go and take a crap shit player. They're going to go and take a top player.
Why is he so?
Because Tottenham fans are stupid. The Tottenham fans.
No, but like he makes mistakes against Forest. That second goal was his.
He makes mistakes, Sean. Right, but who doesn't make mistakes in this Spurs squad right now? So many of them. They all make mistakes because half of them don't even look like they want to play for this club at the moment. So that's the problem. And someone like Porro, he's a passionate player. He wants to play for the badge. You can see it in him. He loves the club, right? And I just feel sorry for Porro because he's been one of our most used players this season. So he's hardly rested. He's hardly had injuries.
I think he's played 600
minutes. Well,
he
is.
Else, yeah.
I mean, exactly. 600 minutes is crazy.
7 games, you know.
It's insane. And the fact that fans just want to jump on a bandwagon just to attack a player, right? It's just ridiculous. In my opinion, I think if fans want Porro, then you just don't want this club to succeed. If they don't want Porro, you don't want this club to succeed because you cannot be getting rid of players like him because he is a technically gifted player. And I just don't think the system, especially with the players around him, is not suited for him. I'll tell you what, you put Porro as a wing back with a back three, like in a Conte system, for example, you see him flourish, right? You see him play even better.
This system with Conte as this squad rather.
With Conte as manager, he'd be doing wonders. Absolute wonders.
It cooks, yeah.
And Sean, look at what he did with a back four of Emerson Royal, Ben Davis, Eric Dyer, and Sessegnon as left back.
Yeah, but at the same time, mate, this club, he's another.
Yeah, but Sean, but that's not the point. But that's not the point. The point is what he got out of those players as a 4th spot finish, right? So what he could do with what we've got right now is a lot better than what we're doing, right? And I think all of us can agree.
Pick the team, as West Coast is asking. Go on in.
What if we have a 3-4-3?
Give me your 3-4-3.
I'd play. What with the current squad?
Current squad, Conte manager.
Current squad. I'd play Danso in the middle, right? I'd play right centre back. I'd play Romero.
You've already fucked up. But go on.
Why?
I'll let you because it's already a terrible start.
Why not Danso?
First and foremost, you start with the goalkeeper. That's how you start an 11. Okay, and you have
but that's a given. Everyone knows we're not going to play bloody the tree in goal, are we? We're going to play Vicario, right? So Vicario is always going to go in goal.
I'll just say
right,
it.
So you put.
Give it the credit it deserves.
Okay, all right, Sean. All right, we'll put the keeper in there just to please your ego, Sean. We'll put the keeper there. Right?
Ego, Vicario's ego. It's part of the squad, mate. Ange defends his players. Vicario defends his manager. I'm going to defend my goalkeeper. All right.
Right. So, are we picking the manager as well? Are we putting choosing out of the staff? Right, Ryan Mason is the manager.
Conte's your manager.
All right, Conte's the manager. Vicario's in goal. Danso's a central centre back. Right centre back is Romero. Left centre back is I'd play Van der Ven. Right wing back or full back, whatever you want to call it, is Porro. Left wing back, I'd actually play. I don't know. It's a tough one. I think Spence has played better this season as a left wing back. But Udogie is playing good at the moment. I'd probably go for. I don't know. It's a 50-50 with them two. I'd go Spence at this moment.
It isn't in a fullback, in a wing-back situation. It's not.
But who would you play? What, Udogie?
Udogie all day long in a wing-back system.
Okay, fair enough. So let's go for Udogie then, right? So so what's that? We've got the wing-backs. We need 2 midfielders. I'd probably go Bentancur and Maddison. No, I'll play Berghvall and. Tough one. Who do you play in next to Berghvall? I don't know.
You don't
Maddison, probably.
You don't need the 6. The reason why you fucked up is because you probably play. You play Romero in the middle of the back 3. You put Danso on the right. You let Romero move forward into the 6 if necessary.
Okay, so then do that then. But then who would you put?
Don't do my team. Do your team, and I'll tell you
why. I don't know. I've got no idea who I'd put in next to Berghvall because Berghvall's going to be my team.
Berghvall and Bentancur.
Right, and then what? No Maddison, no creativity in the midfield.
No, you've got your creativity from the front three and from the wing backs, right? But you do Berghvall and Bentancur in the middle too, right?
Right.
And then you have, and then you have, on the left you have Matisse Tell, who
you wouldn't put Son.
Fuck,
No.
I love Sonny.
Yeah. It's gone.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
go
like,
on.
You know, it's like. Do you remember when we were like 16 years old and there was the girl from Saved by the Bell? Tiffany Amber Thiessen, her name was. You don't remember Saved by the Bell? So all of you that are old enough,
I remember the show. I remember it.
I'll use a better example. Britney Spears in "Hit Me Baby One More Time" versus Britney Spears shaving her head. Right, different person. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Back in the day, and Sonny is now Britney Spears with her head shaved. Versus
Son. Yeah, I think we all know Sean. Son he's done at this club, but you're probably based on what we've got. I'd probably play Tell. It's so hard because I like
Odebear, Solanke.
Odebear.
Right.
Yeah, but then you've got no creativity. You've got literally no creativity in the midfield. Like, where are we going to have our creativity from?
From the width, and then you pivot, and then when you get like when you go 1-0 down,
but those
you take off.
Who is our most creative output in our team right now on statistics? It's Kulu.
Just quickly, I know it's Kelly Kapowski, the character, but Tiffany Amber Thiessen was the actress. And my point was that she was a smoke show in her. Well, she was probably like 22 when she was playing like a 16-year-old or whatever. But he's looking her up. Don't look up the current version of her because she's about 50 years old now, mate. And you're probably going to
No. I'm speaking to that fraud, Emerson Royal.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Two different versions of Kapowski. Kapowski with a K. Kapowski with, I think Benny Boy Kaufman knows. Thanks for the invite for the coffee, by the way, Benny Boy. Did you know it was? I probably wouldn't have wanted to go because it was a Leave It Out convention, wasn't it? You two are probably so many Sun fans. I'm on the same page as you. Yeah, I don't care about popularity of an opinion, mate. I long ago burnt the bridge with any of my Korean. I started a Korean channel. I paid like £100 a month for a dubbing service that listened to my voice and then took what I said and then turned it into Korean. So it was my voice going, whatever, right? You're going to offend a load of people as well. But long story short, it didn't really fly. Didn't really fly. So the Koreans don't like me. So, is what it is.
Oh, sure.
But maybe you put Kulusevski on the right and then you let him drift in. All right. And then Odebear come off the bench. But yeah.
Or you put Kulu in the middle, in the central, instead of Bentancur.
In an 8 role.
Yeah, I'd prefer Kulu because I think he's got an engine as well. He's quite combative. He's creative. He's actually created more big chances than anyone else in the league, I think, this season, which goes to show how bad we are at finishing.
Who's created more big chances?
I think Kulu's up there with one of the most creative players in the league.
Yeah. In the first half of the season, he was insane. Yeah.
No, but even if you look at the stats, someone did a clip on Twitter. I think was it last week or a couple of days ago of all the big chances that Kulu has created, and the poor finishes that we've had in our team is so bad. Honestly, like we've had some poor finishing, and we actually could have scored so many more goals, which could have changed some of the results we've had if we had players that could actually put the ball in the back of the net. And whether or not that's I think it's.
If we had £100 million to spend in the summer,
yeah.
No, it's actually £80 million in the summer, not including Romero sales or sales. It's £80 million net spend, right?
Yeah.
Would you drop 70 of it to bring Harry Kane home?
If he wanted to come back, yes, I would.
I was listening to Purple Rain on Magic FM last night as I took the dog back from the park, and I was singing to myself, "I only really love you when you play at White Hart Lane, Harry Kane, Harry Kane."
I think you should do that on on Britain's Got Talent, Sean. get some traction, mate.
I pulled into the clock to get a couple of bottles of Thatcher's, and the song was still playing. I had the window down, and some people were looking at me like I'm absolute lunatic. I go, hurricane. And then I went, sorry. I've got a car that's newer than old wind-up windows.
Would it take so long to wind up as well, Sean?
We've embarrassed yourself, and you're going, shit, sorry. And it goes up by half an inch.
It just doesn't. It stops halfway. It's like you can't go anymore.
The window, a little like elbow. Back in line.
You know, honestly, I would if I was going to drop 70 million on one player, 100% taking Harry Kane. He's by far for me the best striker in the world, and he's doing it. He's broken records again in the Bundesliga. I know he's going to win his first trophy, but he is a phenomenal player, goal scoring wise and creative wise. And I genuinely think, I know this is going to sound stupid, but we have someone like Harry Kane in that team right now. I think we're scoring way more goals. I think we're winning way more games as well.
Yeah.
Personally,
and
with I think with a manager who's a bit more tactically, not as rigid as Ange is, and has someone who can actually coach the players to play well. For me, I'll give you an example. Someone like Glasner, I genuinely love at Spurs.
Oh, I've had enough of this.
I would like him a lot.
Everybody, Jesus Christ,
Sean,
everybody is so.
Sean,
what have you done for me lately?
Sean,
Oliver Glasner's having a good season, right? Oh, Unai Emery, suddenly poison because he doesn't get to the final. Suddenly Glasner's the new shiny toy.
Glasner, I've wanted from the beginning of the before the beginning of the season. I've been saying
Glasner before the start of the.
I've been saying Glasner since the end. When I saw what he did at Palace, right? What he was doing at Palace at the back end of last season, and what he's done. He's been great. Look how good they are defensively.
He's been really good. He's been really good. But it's the same as the people that say, "Yeah, I'll take Marco Silva." Okay,
I don't want Marco. I think he's shit. Marco Silva's shit.
But everyone is like, it's like.
Yeah, but Sean, it's all the people before, right?
Henry Wright saying Mateta. And by the way, Henry Wright, if you're listening, like, yeah, your boy.
I like Mateta.
Yeah. Because this season,
I like him.
Last
he was doing good. Sean, no, hold on, Sean. When he came in, when Glasner came in, he was one of the highest scoring strikers apart from Haaland last season. When Glasner came in, he just went on a scoring rampage, right? So you can't say based on this. He's been doing it over a season and a half.
I could give you 1,000 examples of people who celebrate recency bias like it's a fact, and then change their tune to the next. Like the people that are like so lanky,
like who? Go on.
So lanky, so wanky. Last season, we should sign Dominic Solanke. Sign him.
I never wanted Solanke. I hate the signing of Solanke.
I'm not saying you. Right?
No, I know you're not. I know, but Sean, that's what fans are like. They're fickle, right? Fans do that all the time. I never wanted Solanke. I never wanted Richarlison. Do you remember I even did a stream once about how bad I didn't want Richarlison before we signed him? I couldn't stand the guy. And we signed another Dominic Solanke. We signed another Richarlison. If anything, Solanke's goal scoring ability in the Premier League is even worse.
I'm still waiting for my apology from Ben and Sim about Richarlison, because we were on that WhatsApp group chat. Those two, they
Sean, did you even come on my stream?
He scored a goal. Mud Butler, you're in the mud. Am I?
Do you remember everyone was having a debate about, do you remember, Sean, right? Where I think it was me, you, and a few others, we were saying how we're not that we were going to get him, but the fact that Rafinha was far, far better than Richarlison was. And everyone's like, no, Rafinha's shit. Okay, look at what he's doing at Barcelona.
Yeah,
and
they were referring to the last 6 months of his Leeds time, because that was the version of him that the conversation was at. You know what I mean? Sounds
like you're excited about a Barcelona.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid. It's bloody. Was it like the version of what's that? Android's version of Siri come on about Barcelona, saying, "What are you talking about Barcelona?" Something like this.
Yeah. Sounds like you're excited. I remember I used to get when I used to go to Tottenham games at 5 minutes past 3 on a Saturday afternoon. I used to get a warning shot on my phone that said your heart rate is abnormally high.
You think?
No, I'm at Tottenham. Know me better. Know me better.
Then did it start switching, saying, "Oh, you're at Tottenham now"?
Yeah,
so that was it.
Yeah, it didn't learn, and this is why I have no time for AI. It doesn't really understand me. Doesn't really understand me too well yet.
I think AI needs a bit more work to understand you, Sean.
Yeah. My mother needs a bit more work. Obviously, Malone needs a bit more work to understand me. The grasses in Bodo will need a little bit more work to understand me. Let me ask you a question, John. Let me ask you a question, mate.
Go on, Sean.
You're saying Pedro Porro in, no sale, no dice.
100%. What about you?
I think right money. I'm happy to. I love him, but there's always a price. And if you can get like 70 million, which I think 60 million for him, I think I could justify it. Let me ask you in the chat.
You trust that we would get a good replacement?
That's not. No, probably not. But
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, I don't know where I would get. No. Let me ask the chat. Ones and zeros. £60 million. Pedro Porro. Yes, you'd sell. No, you wouldn't, because Danny is making the relevant point about how you spend it. It's just as important about what you get. And one, yes, sell 60 or above.
Quality. He's a quality player.
I really like him. I love his big teeth. I love it.
I do too. But he's the only person, Sean. He's the only person that can bloody cross a fucking ball at our club. No one else can cross a ball.
Yeah. But no one can hit it anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah, but at least we have a chance when you've got someone who can cross the ball.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me see. We'll get the zeros and ones out. Richalison, do you sell him, or do you take the argument that? I mean, Johnny's. You sell Richie, yeah?
Sell. I think he's too inconsistent, too injury prone. We have him on the injury bench more than we've actually had him on the pitch. So I just want to get rid of him. Just get him off the books.
No. Oh, no one wants to sell. Two people are okay with it. Peter Simmons is conditional. He's got a price tag he wants. He's not budging.
Yeah.
Another story out today, by the way, and we're going for another 10 minutes, guys.
Sure.
What's the story? Bentancur to Madrid. They want to do a double swoop. Romero and Roddy Bentancur. What would you take for Roddy? Do you rate him? I think he's so overrated at the moment. I think people are like missing the point with him. And I'm not going to be sucked in by one good performance. I think the guy's a good player, a very good player.
Yeah,
we have too many eights and not enough. And I don't care who the next model is. If you pivot to a manager that wants to play a back three, then maybe you don't need the sixes, or maybe you can make space for him. But for me, Roddy Bentancur, I'm happy to move on and say thank you very much for your time. Good luck to you.
Yeah. So am I, Sean. I also think that people. I think with Bentancur, it's a little bit of like nostalgia. A little bit. I kind of feel like they've seen what he can do when he's at his best. Like, because under Conte, before he left, that beginning of that season, right? That first kind of before he got sacked, he was probably one of our best players, right? Performing week in, week out. Then obviously Conte goes, he gets that massive injury, right? That then after that injury, he's had problems for the last 2 years, right? Like, or 1.5, 2 years, he's had injury problems. He's had just loads of problems. And he just never, ever got to that level that he was at. And I don't think he is going to do that at Spurs, because I just don't see the drive in him that he wants to be.
Doesn't score goals.
He doesn't.
He scores occasional goals with it. He's not bad in the air. He can pick up occasional chances.
Drifts.
He's not focused enough concentration.
He's not focused. Yep. I think so too. And I think no, he doesn't. I just think as well, Sean, he's just not good enough. I think he's a good player, but he's too inconsistent. Again, it's another player that's so inconsistent. And if we can get money for him, I'd sell him. Definitely.
How much would you take for both of them? Well, remember, Romero's only got 2 years on his contract.
And Bentancur, is it 1 year or 2 years?
2 years. Both of them, we've got 2 years.
I'd take 30 million, 35 million for Bentancur. I'd say
double your money. Right? Double your money for him. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, double your money, exactly. I don't think we'd get more than 30 to 35 million from him personally. That's my opinion. Romero, I'd say I'd take 70 million pounds, not euros. I think 70 million pounds. So that's what, 80 million euros. I think, or you do 60 to 65 million pounds plus bonuses, which are like another 10 million or something like that. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I would take for him. Because I think Romero, he needs to go. I think he doesn't care about this. Yeah, 100 to 110 million for both, I'd take. Yeah, 100 million is a good price.
A lot with 100 million.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can. I don't think we're going to sign another centre back if Romero goes, because I think they're going to use
too many. We've got so many fucking centre backs, mate. We've got so many.
Sean, I guarantee you, we won't sign a centre back. We won't sign a centre back.
I don't know if the ones coming through are as good as the ones that will be leaving, but you can make an argument. You've got Vescovic, you've got
Ashley Phillips,
Dorrington, Danzo, Van der Ven, Davies. This other kid that Johnny keeps talking about, Dygard or something, who's in the youth team. Apparently, he's like
never heard of him.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting his name wrong.
Yeah.
Remind me of in the chat. Remind me of who it is that Johnny talks about all the time. Who's like 16, who's just like the next hallelujah. Byfields. That's it. Not Dygard. Byfields. Thank you, Callum.
Byfields.
Yeah, apparently, he's like a monster. Trust me, bro.
No, but how many times do we hear that, Sean? Like everyone's a monster. Apparently,
everyone's a monster. Sean, you said we don't have anyone who can head the ball. But I reckon Roddy can. Yeah, I said that. I did say I think Roddy's not bad in the air, mate. He's actually pretty good in the air. He's also pretty good at knocking himself out while trying to do it. Yeah. That was horrible when you saw that. It looked like he had a stroke. We've got too many centre backs, bro. Too many centre backs.
We do.
For me, though, I think you do. Yeah. I think you need to get someone in who can play left side, like because you can't rely on Van der Ven, right? So you need someone that when he's out for half of the season, that the drop down is not Ben Davies. Not that I have any disrespect for Ben Davies, but he's getting on. I like Ben, dependable Ben. I like him, but he's obviously not of the same level.
No.
Or Archie Gray. So you need someone that is like not obviously probably as good, but you need someone like, for me, someone like a Hansko who can do that job, and then also
is good. Yeah.
Also can go over play on the left wing back role if need, or left full back role if need be.
Would you be happy if Tottenham went and dropped 70 million for Guehi from Palace, for example?
I don't rate him like everyone else does. I'm always happy to be wrong. And a lot of times I change my tune, right? Like I've got it in my head. I just find him a little bit clumsy. I remember watching him a few years ago and just going, he's misread. The ball bounced in front of him and it bounced over his head. Like it literally bounced on the ground and bounced over his head because he was not close enough to it to get there and not far enough away to catch the second ball, right? And I'm like,
I know what you're saying, because I used to be like this with Guehi for the last couple of years until this season, and I've seen a massive difference in his ability this season. Yeah, he's a top player, but we're not getting him. He's going to cost even more than bloody.
He's only got a year left on his contract.
Oh, has he? Well, then, but if that's the case, how many top teams are going to go for him?
Maybe 2 years. I'm not sure, but it's either a year, and Everton fans are confident because I've been ridiculed by Everton fans saying it's laughable that you're saying about his contract. They're either saying he's got 2 years left, and I was wrong that it's 1 year, or that he's in discussions to get his new contract done. But either way, he wants to do bigger things. He's a brilliant player. I really, really like him. Really, really like him.
He's a very good player.
As well.
I like him too.
Big fan of Huijsen, but I don't know, like. I feel like Tottenham need. Yeah, he's 19 and he's doing bits, but like, we've got enough kids, man. Got enough kids.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I honestly, Sean, I don't want to see another window this summer. I know we're going to probably do it, but we're going to sign like 4 or 5 kids and then 1 senior player. Like if we do that again, it's just the same crap. I'm not going to bother. Like I'm not even going to bother to be invested. I'm just going to see what happens.
I like Pierre Hincapie. I like him. I'd take him.
Yeah,
I take Jonah Tah, although Jonah Tah's a right-sided player, so not to be in there.
I'd take Lacroix at Palace. Lacroix.
He's quality. Would I pay 60 mil for Branthwaite? Yeah.
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 He's better than Romero.
Yeah.
Well, on Romero's day, he can be world class, but he doesn't do it enough.
Exactly. And look, Guehi's definitely improved from the version of him that where I like. But what I'm guilty of doing with Guehi is I'm like I remember a version of him. Like, I compare people with recency bias. I'm the other way around. I'm legacy bias. I'm someone that like I remember Kelly.
Yeah,
Kapowski.
now you're contradicting yourself now because you're not legacy biased when it comes to Son, are you? So
no, you're right. I'm trying to remember Kelly Kapowski when she was 21 playing as a 16-year-old. I was 14 learning how to masturbate.
Sean's telling everyone his secrets now.
Yeah. I've had a few. The way Sean
Kelly's the big one.
Guehi, he sounds perfect for us. We play that way already. Yeah, Bozo Gene. No, I don't think. I think I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a very good player. But like, do you want to break? Do you want to break the club's transfer?
No, not for
Guehi. I don't.
No, not for 70 million. I'd say 40 million, not 70 million, not 70.
Yeah, but
also,
he only got a year left on his contract though.
Oh, then even less. Then no chance. Then no way. 40 million.
Palace could have sold him to us in January for 70 million quid allegedly. And they turn it down. So, like, I don't know what's the right price with a year left on the contract. If Harry Kane has a year left on the contract and can get £100 million, but this is Harry Kane, a goal scorer.
Harry Kane, yeah,
it's Harry Kane.
Proven.
Harry Kane. Harry Kane.
I love it. You should just do a new intro of you singing different Spurs players.
I'm gonna take a bunch of take a bunch of
like
world famous songs and
turn into Spurs songs. Yeah.
If Harry Kane's worth £100 million with one left on his contract, then Mark Guehi is worth 50 at best.
Less than that. I'd say 40 million probably.
Let me ask the chat. Chat, 1 year left on the contract in the summer. Mark Guehi, how much are you willing to drop on him in a world where Romero leaves? You can put your number in. Well, the 1 and 0 game doesn't need to be always the way. We can just put your number in.
Yeah.
Guehi, 1 year left on the contract. In a world where Romero goes, what do you get for Mark Guehi? Let me know. English tax, says Callum here. Don't forget English tax. 60 says Baker.
I agree.
This is the reps half.
I agree with that.
40 to 45. Rayman saying still don't need a centre back. The problem with the idea of if you sell your best, right, and then you go, oh, we got 7 kids.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
50s.
But
50s.
I just have this weird feeling that they might not sign a centre back, like an actual senior centre back.
What do you want to see? Where do you think we're going to go out spend our money in the summer?
I don't know. I'd like to hope that it's going to be a type of number 6 because I don't think Ange is going to be there. That's what I'd like to hope. But that's where I think we need to spend money in midfield.
Gray good enough for you?
Well, we haven't really seen him in midfield, have we? So I think he's got ability and I think he's got potential, but he's done all right at centre back. Like he's done all right covering. Like for his age, he's done pretty decent. But I think I want to see him.
He's just been dropped, doesn't he? He's been absolutely. He's just been as soon as the boys came back.
Yeah, it's so bad. Mate. That's why I don't think Ange's going to be there. And the way he keeps talking, it sounds like he's not going to be there the next season, no matter what happens. That's what it sounds like. It's like maybe they've already come to a mutual agreement already. Like after the season's done, whatever happens, he's gone. So, and if that's the case, I think we have to sign a type of midfielder. And I think it also depends on what happens up front. Because if Richalison goes, they're going to have to buy another striker because we don't have a striker. And it all depends on if Son goes. And personally, I think Son's going to run his... No. I know he's not going. But I think if there is a chance, there is a chance. I think...
If Sonny doesn't go... and Mikey Moore stays, and Jamie Donnelly comes back, who I think is. I've just got a hunch on him. You don't know until you know because he's only playing level 1 or League 1 football. But I just think that guy reminds me a little bit like Lucas Berghvall. First time I saw Lucas Berghvall, within 5 minutes of seeing him, I was like,
same.
He's got it. He's got it. He's got everything he needs to see for me to be confident.
Do you know why, Sean? It's because he's got it up here. That's why.
Smart.
He's got the football brain.
He's got desire to be on the ball, right? When you're a kid and you've come out of Sweden and you've been brought in, and then you get your chance and you don't hide from the ball at all. Yeah. And in any game, doesn't matter whether it's Liverpool in the cup, doesn't matter whether it's
he wants it. He wants it.
He wants it so much. Like you can't teach that desire.
No.
That's in you otherwise. It's confidence and willingness, and he has it. And and he's filling out. I think he's going to be brilliant. He's not perfect. He's still raw, but he'll be brilliant. And I think that I've got the same vibes about Jamie Donnelly that I just think this guy has, from what we've seen in League One, he's too good for League One.
He's got something. Yeah, he's too good. Yeah, it's true.
I think he's just someone that he's an instinct player. He wants the ball. Mm-hmm. He's capable of magic. And I think he won't be afraid at the Premier League level either.
And I don't think I agree with you. And I also think we don't have enough players who want the ball. Like, I'll give you an example, right? Why I say I don't want Bentancur. Bentancur used to like having the ball, but now it's like even he cowers away from wanting the ball. And it's like you're supposed to be that player who's really good technically on the ball, right? Mm-hmm. Who should be able to at least dictate a little bit in the midfield, right? But he doesn't. It's like he doesn't want it anymore.
The injury that
must have done something to him.
That fake ass Jack Grealish in the Villa team under Conte put on him in that game. What's his name? What's that? He's a right midfielder or right back. What's his name?
Who for who? Oh, Matty Cash.
Matty Cash, right? Matty Cash.
Yeah.
That injury. And then to spend 4 or 5 months out, and then to come back and 2 games in.
It was longer. It was nearly a year. It was nearly a year out.
Yeah. Okay. Long time out, and then to get ripped down. Who ripped him down? Was it Ollie? Was it? Who ripped him down the second time?
It was in the Villa game. Again, another player.
Was it McGinn or was it Matty Cash the second time? I forget who it was. Whoever it was.
It wasn't Matty Cash. It was someone. It might have been McGinn because I was at that game because he was actually bossing that.
Yeah, he was bossing the game.
It might have been McGinn.
And then he gets his ankle taken out, right?
Yeah, and it's like another 3 months out.
And he's a few months out. Yeah. That sort of stuff, coming from someone that used to play rugby to a decent level, I dislocated my knee in a big game, and I was never the same again. And then I spent a year out. When I came back, I never trusted my knee. And then the first time my knee wobbled, I didn't get like injured for a second time, but the first time my knee wobbled, I was like, I never again felt like I could go into like tackles or carry the ball.
It changes your psychological.
It does.
Like your
indelible
thought about it. Yeah, 100%. And you've seen it over time for many players.
Danny, sorry, mate. Chat. Who was it? Who who took Bentancur out the second time? Who was it who took him out the second time when he first came back? Was it against Villa?
It was against Villa because I was at the game. I remember we lost that game. Yeah, that's the game we lost this season. It wasn't Cash again.
It wasn't Cash again, was it? No. Was it Cash again?
It wasn't Cash again. No, I don't think so. I don't think it wasn't Cash again. It wasn't Cash again.
Or maybe it wasn't Cash.
Cash was
Cash the first time?
Cash was the first time.
At Villa Park.
Was the first time.
The Conte, that was Cash.
Yes, that was Cash. And the second time, I think it was McGinn. Let's have a see if we look.
He injured himself. The ACL was against Leicester. The ACL was the second one, was it? No. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. No, it was. It wasn't Matty Cash at Villa Park against Bentancur. That was Matt Doherty who got smashed, wasn't it, by Matty Cash? And Matt Doherty got up. He rolled around, and then he got up, and then he went down again, and he got up, and he went down again, and he ended up going off. And it was Matt Doherty who'd forged a brilliant relationship with Kulusevski when Kulusevski first came to the club.
That's true. That's also true. But there wasn't it also Matty Cash. It was
Matty Cash who took out Bentancur. The chat's right.
Yeah.
Bentancur's first injury was against Leicester, but Matty Cash took out Doherty at Villa Park, and then the next time they came to Tottenham, Matty
Cash did it to
Bentancur.
Bentancur.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And then that's when Romero was giving it to him a bit that game. I think I remember.
That fucking fake ass wannabe fucking Jack Grealish. So okay. So the point I was going to make though about the wingers, about Jamie Donnelly and that. Thank you, chat. Oh, well done, chat. Give yourself a W in the chat. Give yourself a chat W. Well done. I'm asking that because you get the comments up, you get boost the algorithm. Anyway, well done, chat. The reason I ask about Sonny and Jamie Donnelly and Mikey Moore is if you think Sonny's staying, and if you think Mikey Moore is going to stay, and if you think Jamie Donnelly will have a chance in the preseason, then do you need Matty Tell?
Not really, no. Me personally, I do like. I know a lot of Spurs fans are giving hate to Tell, but I see him growing in confidence. Not like I've seen amazing ability, but I've seen things from him that gives me confidence that he is someone that's progressing, right? But there's a lot of people that don't understand what the word progressing means, or what kind of getting used to your environment means. And as soon as they see a player that, oh no, he's shit, it's like, what? Like, seriously? Like, what? I don't know what people are watching. Yes, he hasn't scored. Yes, he's made some mistakes. But the kid is 19 years old. He's 19. I mean, what do you expect? Did you expect him to be like Lamau or something like that, like a generational talent? There's only a few players around that are like that, right? He's not a Harry Kane. And even Harry Kane didn't start until he was like 23, to start scoring goals. So people, and I get people talk about the money and
expectations, immediacy.
I know. But the thing is, Sean, right? There's even reports saying that Bayern Munich are willing to negotiate the price, which I think was always going to happen, because I don't think Tottenham are going to go and pay 50 million euros for a player like that. There's no way they're going to do that. Personally, I think they'd be dumb. It'd be the most dumbest decision they've ever done to go and spend 50 million on him. I think
it would be dumber. I think it would be dumber to let him go.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's a real talent. I really
Sean,
like him.
On the left wing, the more I see him, the more he looks like he's. Do you know how I look at life? Right, is that you have to, if people who want to grow in anything you want to do in life, you have to be growing at least 1% per week, right? Whatever that is you want to grow in, right? However you want to grow.
He's a 90. Thank you for that support, because it's been growing more.
You don't help yourself there, Shawnee boy.
No, listen, I'm just taking what you're saying.
Don't blame life. Don't blame life. You blame yourself.
You said 1% minimum per week, and I'm saying, can we get our chicken kebab, please?
Well, at least you're proving my point is being right, because in whatever way you want, it grows 1%, right? But with a 19-year-old kid who's developing, he's in a new environment. Yes, he's come from a big club, right? But what I've seen, I'm not saying that I've seen like, oh my God, this guy is like the next unbelievable, like, I don't know, Yamal, or he's the next like Son, but I'm seeing improvements in him. I'm seeing he's growing in confidence. I'm seeing he's starting to get on the ball more. He's starting to take on his man more. He's starting to be, and
Why? Right? Because he's at a slow start. He's acclimating. He's bought a house in London. He thinks he's here he's here next season.
But he's playing a consistent position now.
He also wants his place in the fucking final.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying earlier. The only people today is only important for about two people. Wilson Odebear and Matisse Tell.
Yeah, I agree.
Apart from that, the team for Thursday is done. The team for Thursday is done, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But I'm going to go to that. I don't know if you're going to it, Sean. I'm not sure. But
I'm going to every European fixture. Even if we played in on the moon, I'm somehow going to find a ticket, and I'm going to bankrupt myself to get there.
Then I'll see you on Thursday. Then
I'll be in the south stand getting horrendously drunk. I'm gonna walk up and down, and all around the stadium, going, "Listen, mate, I don't know you, mate. Just quickly, scoreline prediction." And I'm gonna get the occasional like, "Fuck off, you mug." Yeah, mate, you fat, sleepy, lovely little prick. Get a load of that. Put that on the camera.
People are funny, man. Honestly. Yeah. But do you know? No, honestly, I think I agree. I think I want him in the squad, not for 50 million. But if it was this way, if it was a choice between signing Tell for 50 million or not having him at all and letting the youngsters progress, like giving the youngsters a chance, I'd rather take that. If it means signing Tell for 30 million euros and at least having those youngsters to have them rotate, like play against each other, like Micky Moore, what's his name? Donnelly and Tell for the left wing, because I think Tell is going to be that replacement.
That's why to me, like if I find out that Sonny goes to Saudi for 25,
I think he might go to Bayern Munich, mate.
Fine. All right. Okay, that's fine with me. I'll tell you what,
I'll take that.
Leroy Sané. Well, that conversation maybe in a couple of weeks. But Sane. For me, I'm just like
Bacon Sane.
You have to think about like what's best for the team. And I'm not being funny, but I know what's going to happen. Sonny won't be. Emerson Royal said this the first time I heard anyone say it, and he was bang on the money. He said, "Kane Champions League 2019 vibes." Right? Yeah. He said, Lucas Moura is going to be the Matisse Tell. He'll get us there, and then Sonny comes back and he just gets his place and puts in a stinker.
I'll tell you something about Sonny off stream, Sean. That I know. I'll tell you something after.
Say it now, mate.
No, because it's out of respect of where this has come from. But I'll tell you something.
No, just tell me now.
Put it this way.
Change the name.
I'll tell you the full.
Sonny, call it money. And if it's about
no. I'll tell you the full story after. But all I'll say is that I think if an offer comes in for Sonny this summer, I think they'll take it if a good enough offer. And what I know is that Sonny would like to also. He's open to going back to Germany. He speaks German, and there's a chance that he wants to play with Harry Kane again. So Bayern Munich, Kane
needs a trophy.
Last year of his contract, needs a trophy. And I also think Sonny playing in a better team with better players, I think that will bring his level back up again. I think personally,
and that's great. And if you love them,
I want that for him. Yeah, I want that. I want that for him. I would be happy for him to go to Bayern Munich, and I'd love to go and see him do some bits in the Champions League with Kane in the Champions League or something like this. I'd love to see it.
You got Yang that we can take on the mantle,
and Yang as well. And I like the look of him so far. He looks good.
I haven't seen enough to know what he's really up to, but that way we can also stop having to go out to Korea and Hong Kong and all that et al. In the preseason. We can start to tap into that American market, which is juicy, and it's a little bit closer to home as well,
Well, so, like I said, it all depends on. Look, I know this for a fact. Well, not for a fact, but I'm pretty sure Son is not going to sign a new contract, and that's because of what's happened in the last contract that he signed.
Of course, he's not signing a new contract. No, he's got his 1 year. It's just whether you sell him now and liquidate, and get a bit of money back, or do you let him run it down and then become like I don't think he's going to sign. He's going to leave either this summer or next summer.
No, he's definitely leaving this summer or next summer. But it's whether or not a club comes in with enough money for Levy to let go, and that's where I think there's a possibility he will stay one more season. But it depends, because if he goes around and says I don't want to be here anymore, then they'll have to look for it. But we know what Levy's like with that, and he likes to keep players as long as possible.
Didn't know Sonny signed it. Didn't know that. But are you calling a bozo? Bozo? You're a bozo. You're a bozo. Mate, last we'll go for 2 more minutes.
Go on.
The or 5 or 10,
whatever you want, Sean, no problem.
I don't really care. It's my mum's birthday.
I've got time.
I'll go to the pub in a minute.
Then you need to vote. Yeah, do
it. So we're both on the same page. Then we're up for if someone has to leave in the summer on the left wing spot, and you don't think there'll be a centre back signing. Radu Dragusin, then, do you think he's going to stay and fight for his place? And if so, then that surely requires a different type of manager, right? A manager that's a little bit more contemplative of the. Sorry, I'm trying to use my foot to grab a member.
Like, are you having a little attack there or something? Something going on there, Shawnee?
That 1% waistband growth isn't conducive to respect. I'm trying to yoga to get the memory stick off the floor. Let me ask you this: do you think Radu Dragusin is good enough?
I think he is good enough in a better system. I think he's not the best defender, but I think he's an old school defender. He's a solid defender. I actually think if you play him in the right system, I think he'll produce a lot more than he's already done. And I think Radu, he's not a bad player. I'd like to see him in a different system. Then I can actually make a proper judgment on him. I don't want to judge him just yet.
He ain't good enough for this system. This high line, he's not good
Definitely
enough.
Definitely not. No way.
Vescovic ain't a fit for this system. And he's got all of the minerals to become a top-class player. You know, maybe he could be our version of the Newcastle...
Milenkovic at Forest? Is it Forest? Yeah, Forest. Forest.
He could be Dan Burns-esque, right? Like, he's a monster in the air. You plant him, when we have corners, you plant him 3 foot outside the box and just you train Pedro Porro or whoever to put it on a certain spot. If he gets it there 80% of the time, and Vescovic has got the run up and the leap at 6'5" and growing, you've got maybe 6 goals a season there, right? Which is
definitely.
But he ain't going to do that in an Ange Postecoglou high line. So assuming that Ange is out at the end of the season,
I think he's out.
Next
out. Do you think he's out, Sean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I think for all the defense I gave him earlier around, like, you know, defending the players and stuff, I just think that the reality is that he has created an energy with the media that he's never going to be able to get the support from. Like, the media don't like him now. And so
I don't think it's just the media, Sean.
Yeah, well, the fans as well, right? Everyone.
Yeah, it's just everyone. And
no,
you can't.
I don't dislike him. I just think he's not good enough, personally.
Yeah, I know. I think at a lower level, I think he'll do good. I just don't think he's good at this level. There's links about him taking over the Leeds job because they've been promoted and Fark's gone, or he is going. I'm not sure, but yeah. And I think,
but Leeds like have this requirement to always play great football. It's a little bit like Tottenham, I guess, right?
Yeah, but I think at a level where he'll
get murdered next year with Leeds playing that same football. He'll get murdered.
Yeah, maybe he would, but then who knows? We'll have to.
I agree. The only way he can get away with his philosophy is if he inherits an Arsenal, or if he inherits a Liverpool, or if he inherits a City.
Yeah.
But he hasn't done enough to qualify himself in that echelon. But the only way he could prove it at this level is if he gets given the very best squad, and that already do something similar to what he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same with Pedro Porro. If Pedro Porro is of interest to Liverpool and City, then you can't argue that the player's capabilities are right up there. But at the end of the day,
definitely,
we're not a good enough team to be able to play the football that Pedro Porro is asked to play, or his style of, he's not good enough as a player. Like, if Trent Alexander-Arnold came to Tottenham, does that transform Tottenham? No. Right, no. But it's useful at Liverpool because they win most games because of the quality around them. So it's horses for courses. But Ange hasn't done enough to be given the City job or the Liverpool job. So he either drops down a level or he goes somewhere else in Europe, and maybe he'll be fine. He's going to get a job offer. But if he takes a team that's coming up and then tries to do what Vincent Kompany did at Burnley, he'll go straight back down again.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'd probably be like that kind of esque of a kind of position for him. It'll be like, he'll just get them relegated, then he'll get sacked, and then maybe, I don't know. I think his job is championship level. That's where I believe he should be. That's for me. Like, he's good in that league or in league like of that level, and then anything else is just not.
I think wherever he goes, he needs to be the best. He needs to have the best squad in the league for that system.
Yeah.
He thinks he's reinventing the wheel, mate. It's not like every other manager in world football doesn't want to play the football that he wants to play. It's that the vast majority of them look at the squad and go, can I do that with the squad that I have? Like David Moyes, Alan Kirbishley, those sorts of the managers, they don't, Sam Allardyce, they don't want to play boring defensive football. It's because they know that,
sometimes
the
you have to
hand that
adapt
they're
to it.
dealt, the hand that they're dealt is like a 7-2 offsuit, and they have to find a way to make it into a hand. Whereas Pep Guardiola's got a pair of aces, right, in the pocket.
Yeah.
And with that, you can do a lot more. Ange Postecoglou doesn't deserve pocket aces, but he wants to play pocket aces with like a pair of 10s.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what Tottenham's a pair of 10s, and he wants to play pocket aces. It's not.
Tottenham's a pair of 2s, mate. The way we're playing,
we're not a pair of 2s, mate. Come on, we're not a pair of this. We're not. We're so much. better.
No.
We
are better than that. No,
he's overplaying our hand is what he's doing. He's overplaying our hand, and he's had his bluff called 100 times by better players at the table. He doesn't change it either. And he does the same thing the next hand, the next round, the next circle. Exactly.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, mate. Final, great way to finish, mate. Final question: does a pair of 10s win the Europa League?
I want to say I think we've got the best chance we've had in a very, very long time to win it. I think if we don't win it, I think it's a bit of a disgrace. As much as how bad we've been playing, and I know Bodo Glimt are a very good team, but let's be honest. On paper, we've got one of the best squads out of the teams that are left. On paper,
and on paper, apparently, for those in the chat. Apparently, they're without their top 3 best players. You know, I'm not sure because Ali Gold said that wasn't the case, and Ali Gold knows all.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think. Look,
Sean in the mud.
I think Bilbao are an amazing team. They're a very good team. But I still think we could beat a team. I think we could beat them. On paper, we've got a better squad.
By far, we've a better squad.
Yeah.
In terms of valuation, in terms of talent, we have a better squad than Bodo, the United, and than Bilbao.
Yeah, definitely. We just haven't been at the races because of many factors this season. Managerial decisions, tactics, loss of faith from the players and the fans. You can say the injury issue if you want to. Everything.
You got to be consistent.
No, that's
definitely a factor.
No. But I'm saying it's a factor. But I'm saying it makes no difference really because we're playing even worse when we've got all our players back.
Yeah, but the damage has been done though, right?
Yeah, I know, but let's go before the injury issue this season. Even the back end of last season was dreadful.
We were fifth in the league until December.
Yeah, until December, and then what happened?
The injuries happened.
No, are you talking about this season? You mean or last season?
This season, we were first in the league last season.
Yeah, I know we were. I know, and they made they were a massive issue. Which, look, but we have to be honest. He didn't help himself. That's the problem. He kept picking the same players over and over again, and he wasn't. And he's only forced to use the youngsters because of the injuries. And if he rotated it in a better way, what's weird is Ange started to do more rotation towards in the last 2 months, right? But again, some of the times it was good decisions, and some of the times it was bad. But my issue with him is that. There's too many. I don't like the fact that he thinks we play well when we lose a game of football, because at the end of the day, you can't say you sit there and say we played well if we've lost, because the whole point of a football match is to win the game itself. It's to get 3 points, especially in the league. And if you don't win, how can you say that we've done amazing or they gave him the best they could? If he's sitting there and saying the team have given the best they could, but yet we've gone and lost the game to like Wolves and got battered. I mean, how can you justify that? How can, as a fan, do you want to be hearing your manager say, yeah, we gave it everything we could and we got battered by Wolves? Like, come off it. Like, you don't want to hear that as a fan. You want to hear, you want to hear, you know what I mean? You want to hear like, look, there were parts in the game we played good, but it wasn't good enough. We didn't win the game.
I think to a degree he's saying that, but I think also he's made his bed now and he's lying in it, and now he's like.
I agree with that. I agree.
Right? There's his ego, there's the pride, there's the reality of the excuses that everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody wants to lean into excuses as to why you're not responsible for things that you probably are more responsible for than you want to like allocate yourself, because everyone wants to make out like they're perfect or near imperfect, and sorry, not nearly imperfect. Anyway. It is what it is, mate. Listen, we're going to round off, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, well done for you for coming on. I still haven't heard your wonderful take that I wanted to hear. What was that, by the way?
I told you at the beginning. It was about the take that people were apparently going mad at you for
that one.
not thinking.
One. Yeah, I'll be honest, mate. It wasn't memorable enough for me to. I thought, okay, is that it? Okay.
No. I know, because you probably would have thought I'd be in that camp that said, fuck Levy and fuck that, and you know.
See what you're saying.
No. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was so funny. I genuinely loved it. I thought it was great.
Listen, guys, stay right where you are. We're going to hand you straight over to the wonderful people over at the Irish Hotspur, Dave and Jack and the team over there. Make sure you get over there and smash Shawnee Raid and stay there. Say Shawnee Raid when we drop off here. But I want to ask you one more favor. Smash the like if you haven't already. I always forget to ask you enough times during the stream. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to get to 28K. I've been trying to do it was like August last year. August last year, I was on 20,700. I'm still on 20,700. It's been nearly a fucking year. Smash the subscribe, people. Hit the notification bell. Drop a comment after the show if you're watching this latterly. Danny, where can people find you, mate?
They can find me everywhere whenever I'm available and whoever wants to have me on, because I'm not officially part of a channel. But if I'm around and I'm not busy and I fancy talking about Spurs, I'll be on. I'll be on Sean's channel or wherever. But a lot of the times I'm busy these days. But I love to come on Sean's show because we have a good chat. But I want to ask you one thing, Sean, and one thing as well, everyone, please do smash that subscribe button if you haven't done, because I bet you there's a lot of people that are not subscribed, because Sean's content is brilliant. So you really need to. He gives you a lot of different perspectives from different points of angles, or different angles from financial stuff with football and Spurs. So please do it, because honestly, you'll enjoy listening to it. It's a bit more articulate as well. That's all right. One other thing, Sean, I'm going to ask you is, are we winning the Europa League?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Even though I'm going to be in both cities for the journey, whether I actually make it to the game depends on what Svetlana does and whether she understands me as much as they need to.
Well, I'll be in Bilbao as well, because we've already got our hotels booked. We've got our hotels booked already.
You're on the Barry train. You're on the Barry train. Are you getting hold of Barry?
I'm on the Barry train. Yeah,
nice,
definitely.
Right,
we got it, man. We're Spurs fans. It's the hope that kills you.
I don't know why I spent 1,500 quid on a hotel. I could have just.
You're mad.
I'm not going to give Barry the.
You're not even going to sleep, mate. If we're getting the final, whatever happens, you're not sleeping. Dude, you'll be at Svetlana's, mate.
Let's be entirely honest, bro. The second that I shake your hand, give you a hug in the airport or in Bilbao town, and I have one little word in your shell, you ain't sleeping either, bro. You're coming with me.
No chance. Yeah, no chance. No fucking chance, Sean.
Don't make out this is like one.
Sean, I said to Nick, is there really a point in the hotel? We're not going to fucking sleep. It's like, especially if we win it.
Get Bill Brass.
No chance. Yeah.
We're going to Atletico Bill Brass. Listen, guys, love you all. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. Get over to Danny wherever you see him. Make sure you always say hello to him. Get over to, remember, Shawnee Raid is coming up as we send you over to the wonderful people.
Shawnee Raid.
Love them all. Like, subscribe, and comment. And come on, you Spurs. This afternoon, but more importantly, Thursday. Like, subscribe, and comment. As always, bye bye.